You better stay on your toes. Repo, tilling the land, focus on the eco. Open my heart, let go of the ego. Ran out the grand, I'm stacking up these C-notes. Facts, facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts, found out the hacks, put it in the rap. Facts, facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts, facts. We ain't get city, pull up where we at. Facts.
And that's facts though, I talk factos. Ask J Babe, I go Astro. Floating focused on my cash flow. We plant star seeds to make the grass grow. I'm a refloater, I do what I wanna. Stacking the winter, sunbathing the summer. My chakras aligning, I shock them like Blanco. Only part we acknowledge a nigga is Pablo.
At these events, I'm a god to my people. Got out the streets, yeah, we dodging a Rico. Game of roulette, I'm a casino. The game wasn't fair, yeah, the odds wasn't equal. Squad got the Chico, my squad got the Chico. Came in a drought, yeah, they starving the people. Blaming and doubt, make it harder to eat, yo. Not a placebo, this not a placebo.
The food, the art, the clothes. We put this show on the road. The Vatican getting exposed. You better stay on your toes. Repo, tilling the land, focus on the eco. Open my heart, let go of the ego. Ran out the grand, I'm stacking up these C-notes. Facts, facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts, facts. Found out the hacks, put it in the rap. Facts, facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts, facts. We in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, facts.
Started in Richmond, art of my district. Heart of the mystics, started for biscuits. Father the isfits, martyr the misfits. God is my witness, God on my hit list. Moving the weight, we started with fitness. Moving with states, we art of the richest. Give me the blues, my heart is in Memphis. It's part of adventure, started my venture. The F is for food, the A is for art. The C is for clothes, I'm playing my part. T is for tech, I'm playing it smart. S is for shelter, stay in the park. Acres on acres, get lost in the dark. We playing a part, we playing it smart. Facts, facts,
okay. The food, the art, the clothes. We put this show on the road. The Vatican getting exposed. You better stay on your toes. Repo, tilling the land, focus on the eco. Open my heart, let go of the ego. Ran out the grand, I'm stacking up these C-notes. Facts, facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts, facts. Found out the hacks, put it in the rap. Facts, facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts, facts. We in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, facts.
It's a movie, it's a movie. Your motherfucking stepchild. It's time to chop off the foot that's on my neck now and climb up to that head. Decapitate the brain of the system, and that system dead. I ain't checking who on code, cause if you feel like I feel, the nigga, it's a goal. Everybody wanna be black, so it's time to be black. Not black like the color, but how we fight back. Not black like the skin, but how we up.
And they still ain't talking about nothing. God's son, son of the sun, yes sir, we can feel the weather. I got my life together and I put that on Queen Esther. I thank the Most High for my life and a good head on my shoulders. It's mind over matter about the crew till the day that it's over. Half of them cars I hopped in and out of were stolos, splat. Big house with a garage door and there's more than cars behind that. If I call her thick, it's probably cause her booty fat. About that paper, I put the apple on the desk when I come to class. Everybody get a plate of food and on the pot in the kitchen. I ain't going for it, yeah, I put that on my mama's children. If I said it, I meant it, and we ain't done yet. Hey, if it ain't priority, bruh, then it's on to the next. I'm out of there. For sure, deal with us if you know your worth. If their intentions clear, I'll put them first. About my paper, I'll see you later. Yeah, we live in major, paper to acres.
Yes, indeed, yes, indeed.
They live in color with my blood, but he ain't claimed and they know what's up with us where I'm from.
We are in the building. We are in the building. Peace, love, and light to the family. Welcome to another episode of Melanin Monday. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is episode 222. Tell me how I'm sounding. How we doing on the audio? Yeah, how we doing on the audio? Talk black to me, man. We checking in. Let me know how the audio is sounding up in this thing. Yes, rest in peace to Gangsta Boo, my niggas. We're gonna get to it. You know what I'm talking about? We got a
Beautiful, beautiful show lined up for you tonight. I just want to say, God damn, what a time to be alive, y'all. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? What a time to be alive, man. Let's go ahead and do the roll call. I want to know who is in the building. The audio is crispy. We're going to talk our shit. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, sir. That's right. Let's do the roll call, though. All right. Let's see who's in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Yeah, I read a comment in the comment section where a sister, she was addressing Blue Pill and she asked him about the profanity because she was like, I'm playing this for the young ones. I want them to learn this too. So I'm gonna be mindful of that. But you know, we still gonna turn up though. How about that? All right. You know what I'm saying? You know, a little clean starting the year off. You know what I'm saying? We go a little clean, you know, gotta clean it up a little bit. You know, everything is clean. You know what I'm talking about? Cleanliness is next to godliness. LA is in the building. Yes, the Sham God, yeah. San Jose, no, the Jordan years. How about that? Jordan years, nigga, 23. Bowie, Maryland, 305. Harlem in the building. Yes, please sit back and roll up some herb. You know what I mean? This is be a herb-friendly show tonight. PG County, Maryland. Charlotte in the building. East Flatbush by way of GA. Pennsylvania's watching. You know what I'm talking about? Denver's tapping in. Baltimore's here. The Sixers in the building. Ohio is here. Pentecostal Florida up in this thing. NC is up in this thing. 718. BKNY is up in this thing. Talk Black to Me. Florida. Sanford to be exact. The UK, mount across the pond and whatnot. Be more. Body more. Be more careful. West Phoenix is here. Be more is here. ATL is here. You know what I'm talking about? Wilmington, Delaware. Okay, I see you. I see you, London. 1:34 in the morning. In this thing. Spartansburg up in this Norfolk, PA. Yeah, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Tremont section of the BX. St. Louis up in this thing. And I'm talking about NC 30 Fizzle up in this jizzle. Chicago, yeah, 23, that part. Canada, I see you. Howard County, Maryland, I see you. PA, I see you. I see everybody. Man, love and light. You know, I'm talking about. Blue says slow down with the love and lights and shit like that. But you know, welcome. You could have been anywhere. You know what I'm talking about, but you're here with me. And you made it, huh? Nigga, we made it. It's 2023 and you're here. So you're here for a reason. Pay attention to the reason. Washington is up in this thing. Oakland with that Zaza. Okay. I think everywhere got that Zaza. You got Zaza Ali. They got Zaza everywhere. West Los Angeles in here. West Palm Beach, Florida. Charleston, South Carolina. By way of Charlotte. Charlotte, we got a date coming for y'all. What month we in? We in January, right? Oh, man. Would it be... I think we might come and see y'all at the end of January. I'm gonna have a conversation with the team and whatnot, but I'm very eager to pop up in Charlotte. The time is right. Yeah, I think the end of January might sound like it, or we might do Black History with y'all. How about that? North Virginia, Blackamore history for that part. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, with the Pope Pack, we pulling up with that Pope Pack. Yeah, roll up that Pope Pack tonight. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, roll that up. Rome, George in the building. Rome, George in the building. The Mineral Ministries is up in this thing. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Selma, Alabama. No more march in the Selma. In the court and the Dr. Jack Felder, the elders trapped in the mazes like Zelda. They must have never heard of the Moors like Melba. New Smyrna Beach, Florida. That's old bars. Yeah. Harrisburg, I see you. I see you. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man. So yeah, we here, man. We here. Live from the sunken place. Yeah, that part. We here. You know what I'm talking about? And 2023 done started out with a bang. It's already warmed up. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have to waste any time. This shit is already warmed up. All right. I'm going to have a special guest pull up tonight. There's a conversation that we must have because a day like this is a very special day. You know what I mean? A day like this, I don't want days like this to go by and we don't acknowledge the importance and the historical reference of days like this. January the 2nd, this January the 2nd is very important in what we know as Blackamoor history. Okay. We're going to talk about that as the show progresses. You know what I mean? We'll talk about that as the show progresses. We'll have that conversation. But yeah, it's a very important day. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the news, right? To show you and to show and prove that, like I always say, time is centrifugal, right? And it's nothing new under the sun, man. This cycle continues. You could find yourself thousands of years down the line doing the same shit or having the same type of adversarial encounters with your adversaries. You know what I mean? You know, just to show you that nothing, all things change, nothing remains. Signing in from the ganja farm. I feel you, man. Smoke it up. Moon and Taurus. All right. Moon and Taurus. You know what I'm talking about? That part. All right. So how did y'all celebrate the end of your fiscal year? I'm curious as to know, what were y'all doing? Shout out to everybody that was doing the class. They were doing the right thing. Not to say that anybody was doing the wrong thing, you know. But definitely whoever was in the building for this right here, for the end of the year in review, Red Pillars 2022 year in review. You know what I mean? We had an extra, we had a special guest, Blue Pillar, aka Pope Pablo 44, pulled up in the building. And we also had a reading of the year, right? Just to show you, not really a reading, I would say a forecast. And it was our good brother Malik Deshawn. Perhaps, hold on a minute. I'm assuming that y'all know who the brother is, but you might not be aware of who this good brother is. I did have him on the show as a special guest, and he did some live readings right on the show, just to show the people that he was who he said he was. You know what I mean? That he is who he says he is and whatnot. And he displayed his, he displayed his craft and whatnot. And he was doing live readings. And what I also found to be of utmost importance was a video that he did with Blue Pill and Destiny Grind in January of 2022, right? Exactly a year ago. And exactly a year ago to this day, to be precise, because I believe they did it on January 2nd. And it was a forecast of what's to come in 2022. And when I saw the video the other day, whilst doing research for my end of the year review, I was blown away by the accuracy. So I said, you know what? I don't want to waste my time trying to convince anybody of anything, because I don't subscribe to that type of foreplay anymore. You know, either you know what it is or you don't. You know what I mean? It's not going to change anything. But I was like, let me go ahead and re-upload it to Know the Ledge Media so everybody could have the opportunity to see genius, right? In this in action, right? Both Blue Pillar, both Destiny Grind, which is my good brother Tariq, who we've been doing year-end shows with for many, many years. And the brother has been precise, going all the way back to about 2012 or 11 for that matter. These brothers was on point. And the brother Malik Deshawn, I'm talking about, they was hitting 3-pointers because they was talking about how, you know, come on, it's not that much guessing in the world, right? So obviously somebody is doing their homework. All the way back in January of 2022, predictions were being made about what was going to go down for the whole year based off of science, not speculation, not how I feel, not because I downloaded it. No, science, right? Shit that you could prove. Okay. And the accuracy was point on. There's about 3,000 some odd people that have watched it, right? Well, I always say you double the numbers when you see it, because most people watch videos with somebody accompanying them. But I encourage everybody that's on this live tonight to go and check that out. That's on the channel. Just scroll down and you'll see it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be uploading a lot of what they call throwbacks, because those are very important. You know, we'll timestamp them. You know, we'll let you know that these were done in this year. This is 2015, 14, 13, because it's very imperative to know what conversations were being had a decade ago. You know what I mean? And how things measure up where we are right now, because you'll see that there's been a lot of forecasting that have been taking place and a lot of pillar prophecies, but this is not about horn tooting and stuff like that, or back patting. It's just really proof of work, which is important. Proof of work. There are people who just got put on to this platform years ago, maybe this year. Maybe this is the first time that they even saw Know the Ledge or Melanin Mondays and whatnot. And they're just like, wow, okay, let me find out who this, let me see what y'all been doing for however long y'all been doing what y'all been doing and what y'all been talking about. So the proof is in the pudding, but yeah, I'll be uploading a lot more classic vintage content now that I got the machinery and the hardware to support that. I will be demonstrating, a lot more of the digital content creating and feeding, both my Patreon and also the YouTube members and whatnot, my KT aliens. However, I always have to stress that this is not the end goal right here. The end goal in my walks, everybody is walking different. Everybody has a different path, and everybody has a different outlook as to where they want to be supported and where they want to build their home, or where they want to pitch their tent. So after being with YouTube so many years and whatnot, and it's been highly beneficial in terms of spreading information and getting the word out and open up the door for just me, myself, and my peers, my brothers, my family members, everybody in my circle and my network and whatnot, has been very beneficial in terms of providing a platform to where we could get our voice and our ideas and concepts out to a galactic audience. But this is not the end all be all. So one of the, especially in 2023, one of my main objectives is to begin to extract quality of membership from this platform, right? This very sticky platform that people can't seem. There's a blind loyalty that we seem to have to Google and YouTube, right? And we're gonna have to break that. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's a blind loyalty. It has really no merit to it. We have to venture forth, because places like YouTube, unfortunately, today more so than yesterday, is highly compromised. Meaning, individuals such as myself, because of what I speak about and the information and the level at which the information is delivered, and the sensitive subjects that we tend to teach on, right? And the highly sensitive environment that we currently exist in, it will not support those type of conversations, right? So a new platform is inevitable, and we're going to speak it into existence that the YouTube killer is around the corner, right? I've been in this digital game for a very long time, right? The evolution will be digitized, right? So I've seen a lot of things come and go. You feel me? I've seen a lot of things rise and fall. So I was there for the MySpace evolution. You know what I mean? People was dropping bombs on MySpace. MySpace was, MySpace planted mad seeds. But before MySpace, I was on Black Planet, putting up comedic imagery, dropping information. I was really into the motifs, the symbols and whatnot, because the symbols or the logos or the motifs, they speak languages. You know what I mean? They speak in their own language. They say an image is a picture's worth 1,000 words. But God damn it, what the fuck is a Heru ancient relic dipped in gold and whatnot. How many words does that speak? Because that was catching a lot of people's attention. My avatar was King Tut in all gold. You know what I mean? That shit was real sticky. People was drawn to that, and that allowed them to come into my world. And the minute they got in there, I gave them the red pill, and the rest is history. You feel me? So the same way that these things have come and go, there's going to be something that's going to come along that's going to rival this platform that we're on. It's even going to be bigger than these platforms that we're on. I'm not cursing YouTube. It serves its purpose. But you know, there's a ceiling of Web3 is the future, and it's shit bigger than this. Yes, YouTube is convenient, and we become victims of convenience. You feel me? And becoming the victims of convenience, we've also become servants to the agenda. And the agenda is to dumb down, and the agenda is to turn down, and the agenda is to pour a lot of quote unquote, is to piecemeal, you know, these conversations and whatnot. And the proof of that is in the pudding, because if you go back into the archives of the older videos, they were more informative. They were higher vibrational. The conversations were higher. You understand? And when you listen to the conversations, it wasn't even like niggas was like trying to dodge the matrix and whatnot. It was open air. It was open air. You feel me? It was out there. It was being fed to the masses. Big plates. The master teachers were in their primes, going hard. Well, to be honest with you, this was some of their heydays. No, not their heydays. This was their sunsets. Some master teachers that you don't hear about anymore. You won't ever hear from them again. This was their this was their curtain call. They was bodying shit. You feel me? They was laying it down. So I'm like, shit. We don't see the subtleties of what the censorship and all of these other things have done over the years, right? What is done over the years is make the conversation and the narrative become, it's almost like they stepped on it. You know what I'm talking about? It's almost like they stepped on it. It's almost like they poured bleach on it. You know, it's almost like they poured milk into that black coffee. So now there's a mixture between woke and consciousness, and it's a very blurred line. I'm from Brooklyn. It's a very blurred line. 333 in the building on this 222 show. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Hit that like button. You feel me? But I'm speaking it to an existence that the new platform is going to usher in a wave of higher consciousness from teachers, master students who have something to contribute. And it's going to be about the education, even if it's through the lens of edutainment, so be it. But it's going to be heavy in the education. I could feel it in my bones. I could feel it in my bones. You know? So that's what it is. But yeah, man, it's a lot of things to talk about. Rest in peace to Gangsta Boo, aka the Devil's Daughter, right? 3-6 Mafia. My heart is in Memphis. You dig? My heart is in Memphis. There's something that needs to be addressed. And we talked about it in 2022. We talked about it in other days. Matter of fact, before I even go further, I said all of that to say what? My Discord, right? The Netaverse Discord is where we are currently building up our membership, our KT Alien membership off of the YouTube platform, we've been doing great things in our Discord, right? So I'm going to drop a link in the chat for anybody that's here, right? Especially if you have something to contribute in the realms of coding and in the realms of designing and in the realms of developing. If you're into any type of engineering, if you're into any type of the arts, if you're a scientist, anything of that nature, if you have something to contribute into this intellectual think tank that we're building up, I need you, because we can only get so far on YouTube. For years, I've been talking to millions of people, right? Millions and millions of people when you look at all of the numbers, right? And in real life, I probably only met 100,000 of them. And I'm really stretching it when I say that. You know what I'm talking about? I'm really stretching it when I say 100,000, low key. Well, I might have done business with 100 of them. I'm just, maybe 1,000. Maybe 10,000. Maybe more than that. But still, you understand what I'm saying. I'm saying face to face, it ain't been that many people. But I'm talking into these microphones and I'm talking into these cameras. People get to see me. I don't get to see them. You know what I'm talking about? People get to build with me. I don't really get to build with them. One of the things that Discord affords, right, is the opportunity to build community. You dig? The opportunity to build community. So the Discord is lit. You know what I'm talking about? The Discord is turned up. We got a lot of shit popping in there. I was able to do some powerful things in 2022. In the lecture that I did, the year in review, I walked the family through the steps, some of the steps that it took to build up the metaverse, right? Which is a fully functional metaverse that is going to be launched this year. You know what I mean? And a whole cryptocurrency and everything. It has use cases. The shit is lit. Web3 is not here, but we're still in the building phases. So when it gets here, we're ready for it. And all of that was done along with some other things, right? All of that was done through the commitment of some very wise and intelligent work-orientated people over at Discord. You feel me? Who probably came over from YouTube, came over from Instagram. You know, they had to come over from somewhere on the socials and whatnot. But I want you to do the research when you have the time, from social media to social networks, right? And see what the difference is. Go to ChatGPT and just type in, what is the differences between social media and social networks, right? I want to make it to whereas whenever we have questions and whatnot, we're going to be somewhat trained to go ahead and tap into some type of assistance, a virtual assistance, right? That utilizes artificial intelligence, right? To help us with our searches and our queries and whatnot, because you can't call Red Pill every minute you have a question. Some people live in towns and cities where they went insane and whatnot because they didn't have anybody to talk to and they didn't have anybody to answer their questions and whatnot. Some people be online trolling and whatnot. This is how stalkers got birthed. They want you for themselves. They want to ask you mad questions. They want to see everything that you're doing, what you eating, and all kind of shit. So they start to stalk, right? But the Most High, he decided to rain down some manna from heaven. And one day, he twinkled a little bit of seeds and whatnot and gave somebody the idea to create an artificial intelligence chatbot that could talk to you niggas, right? Remember Ask Jeeves, AskNinja.com? It just leveled up. I was in households where people were having full conversations with Alexa and she was ignoring them. She was talking greasy to them, real sideways, out the side of her cyber neck. You know what I'm talking about? I seen people having conversations with Google and Google was talking greasy. So we live in a new day and time where you can have a conversation with a chat bot and that shit will have an intelligent conversations with you, right? Somebody just put it in the chat that they just dropped Chat GPT-4. Man, if that's the truth, it's Christmas in January. It's Christmas in January. I've been having the time of my life interfacing with artificial intelligence. Why? Because I'm not artificial. I'm almighty intelligence. So artificial intelligence will really only work for those who claim and those who have almighty intelligence. That's the best way that you can make that shit work for you. Because if you interface with artificial intelligence and you got some artificial thoughts, or you don't have original thoughts and you don't have a certain type of frequency and you already approaching it like it's smarter than you, then you're not going to get the same results as somebody who walks up on that shit and they start interfacing with it like, nigga, you gonna work for me. The same way that some of y'all spiritual leaders told you to interface with your ancestors and talk greasy to them. Well, that's the same way I'm gonna talk to the motherfucking quantum computers and the artificial intelligence. It's almighty intelligence over everything, baby. You know what I'm talking about? This new game that we're in is prompt driven, right? So it's not about, oh, I got skills and whatnot with my hands and whatnot. I've been learning how to edit. I've been learning how to design through Illustrator and Photoshop and Procreate. Nothing to take away from. I'm an artist who's skilled with his hands as well. You know what I'm talking about? I'm one of those trained artists, right? But I understand the days and times that I'm living in. So I know that art is expanding. I know there's a lot of other things that are expanding, and art has now been integrated with technology. There's been a disruption, and now we have Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, and all kind of other things, right? So the key to that is to use it so it doesn't use you, right? So it's conceptual art. That's what it does. It's kicking out concept. You see this picture right here? This is called conceptual art. I could take this image right here, and now I could go to somebody who is a 3D or 4D designer. I could go to somebody who is a video game designer. I could go to a movie producer. I could go to an animation studio, and now I have what is known as source material, and I could utilize that source material to create a $1 billion IP. A $1 billion IP. An 11-year-old kid made Chat GPT create a video game based on multiple choice. Now, what I'm not about to do, right? Because I spent many, many years and a lot of hours, right, committed to teaching conscious people specifically. My niche, you know how they say niches? My niche, right, is what you would consider a conscious audience. Too many people who don't consider themselves to be conscious, I make it hard for them to sit in front of me because they know that I'm not necessarily talking to them, because I don't even though I speak the language of the people. I you know, sometimes they like, yo, this nigga's not speaking my language. You know, he's not woke enough. He's a little too conscious. So I've been talking to conscious people for more than a decade about the technology and what we could do with it. I've been talking about the Facts Initiative, the evolution will be digitized, all of it. And now we're at a precipice where every single thing that was spoken about has come into a fruition, and we could do what we probably was not able to do 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. The limit of what we could do now has exponentially grown, right? We have succeeded to reach the reality that was being painted in all of those lectures over all of those years and whatnot, where I was giving out all of that information about what we could, from stream chasers, strive and thrive, the 100 income streams, right? Everything that I talked about in those streams and whatnot, you can apply the technology that's out right now and body that shit. The last show that I did the Facts 24 workshop, right? So when I did art, which is, you know, food, the art, the clothes, the technology, the shelter, I did art. I broke down 100 ways you could utilize art in the Facts Initiative. So I showed about 50 to 60 examples of different artists, right? Occupations for people who consider themselves to be an artist. Okay, do you know you could be a costume designer? You could be a comic book cover artist. You could be an illustrator, right? You could be a graphic artist. You could be a video game developer, a video game designer. You could be all kind of things. You could be a clothing designer. You could be a logo designer. So all of these things that I was pointing out, right? And when I was saying it, I remember doing the lecture and I read in the chat, somebody was like, damn, I wish I had the opportunity and the time on this planet to do all of those things. And I'm here to let you know, just a few weeks after, maybe because when I did, let me think, I did Facts 24 in November, right around the end of November, because I remember we were supposed to go to Charlotte for the Facts Charlotte thing, and it got postponed. So it was the end. So around the same time that I was doing it, OpenAI was releasing ChatGPT, and the world will never be the same after that. We're talking about an event that shifted time, right? And what I mean by that, right? Because people get, oh, what do you mean? What I mean by that, by shifting time, is there was a time when people remember life with Google and life without Google. There was a time that you remember life with the iPhone and life before the iPhone. So there's going to be a time where people is like, yo, I remember life pre-Chat GPT, and then I remember life post-Chat GPT. That's how revolutionary or evolutionary, I won't call it revolutionary. That's how evolutionary that IP or that API, right? That's how important it is. So I highly suggest those who know how to take advantage of what you have in front of you, you're doing such. Okay. So you combine ChatGPT with Midjourney. This is a trifecta right here, right? This is the trifecta. ChatGPT, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion. Out of here. Out of here. Right? And I'm not trying to make it easy because people are like, I don't even know what he's talking about. It sounds like, you know, I might sound like Charlie Brown or somebody. This is not, you know, to make it in life, to make shit work for you. I don't sit around and try to give people the shortcut. That's not my job. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to show you how to finesse shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to show you how to get around, and you know, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to encourage the motherfucking work. I'm a workhorse. I'm a workaholic. You feel me? But I'm all about working smarter and not harder. I'm going to bring to you the keys, and I'm going to bring to you the cheat code, and I'm going to bring to you the breakthroughs whenever they come through, because that is my duty. That's my duty. You know what I'm talking about? That's my duty, because if I could bring to you the bad news, I'm damn sure going to bring the good news to you. So the good news is we currently live in a day and a time where many of the things that we said that we wanted to accomplish, we have the opportunity to accomplish it, right? The only thing that we can't buy back is our time. So time is of the essence. So there's no time to just sit around and wait around and play around and stay around and, you know, none of that shit. This is about action. This is about action. You got to put some points on the motherfucking board. You got to get on the dance floor and start dancing. You don't work, you don't eat, you don't grind, you don't shine. Exactly, Nate. Because don't, you know, the game don't change. I don't give a fuck who is in front of you. The game don't change. People think that it's not a magical pill to get you up out of this. It's not a magical pill that's gonna make you a legend or an immortal in this bitch. You know what I'm talking about? You know how long I wanted to do an animated movie? You know how long I wanted to create a video game? Do you know how long I wanted to make a whole graphic novel to get some of these ideas out of my head that's driving me crazy? All of my crazy niggas, tap in, man. Anybody drawing outside the lines, tap in, because y'all gonna be the ones that are gonna bend the spoon. You know what I'm talking about? I'm looking for you niggas. Y'all gonna be the ones that's gonna bend the spoon. The ones who got the way that you'll interface with AI, you gonna break it. You gonna bend the spoon. It's gonna be the people that draw outside the lines that are gonna be able to make the breakthroughs into this reality that we going into right now. Tap in, bro. I'm dead ass. If I have any of my mods from my Discord, or if there are any mods in the building, please, while we're here, drop the link for the Discord. It's free. You don't got to do nothing but sign up and pull up, and then you'll be notified. Make sure you have your notifications on when we go live inside of Discord, and when we have these classes and whatnot and these talks. You'll be invited. You know what I mean? You'll be notified of what's going down. But I highly suggest that y'all pull up in that bitch, because this is cool. But this is, you know, this is where I come out. This is the public square. That's what I see YouTube as. I'm going to be doing a lot more. I'm going to shift I'm going to pivot a little bit. Not on this channel. This is Know the Ledge Media. I have something called Know the Ledger, right? Know the Ledger. I have that on, that's an IG page. Go and follow Know the Ledger. On Know the Ledger, we stick to all things techno. We stick to all things dealing with the electrified age and whatnot, the digital age and whatnot. The evolution will be digitized and shit like that. We do a lot of that on Know the Ledger. So I'm going to be doing Know the Ledger YouTube channel. I'll connect it to this platform, but I'm going to have it as a standalone platform. And that's where I'll be doing a lot of my technical videos and whatnot, a lot of that techie shit, chat GPTs, 10 ways to make, you know, the chat GPT, you know, work for you, 10 ways to, you know, 7 ways that you could use chat GPT to make a, you know what I mean? To get into the fantasy industry. Remember I talked about the fantasy industry, y'all, when I was on High Level Conversations, right? And I talked about fantasy industry, and I'm like, yo, we're ruled by the fantasy industry. Let me share real quick and break it down for you. The same people that Kanye was fighting, right? And if anybody knows Kanye whereabouts, please let me know, because, you know, we're not gonna panic. We just saying, I hope he's somewhere safe, getting the hydration, right, and the inspiration and the education and the meditation that he needs to come back, you know, reincarnated like he always do. Okay, this is what he does. This is what he do. Need I remind you, he is one of the masters of reincarnation and reinventing and popping back up when you thought he was finished for him. The Hootie, you said you dropped the link. Drop it again, because I don't see it. I don't see it. This is one of the mods right here for the Discord. He'll be able to answer anybody's queries if y'all want to sign up and pull up. You feel me? Because I'm looking forward to and we'll be there tonight. As a matter of fact, after the show, the after party is in Discord. So we're gonna be doing the after show after tonight's Melanin Mondays in the Discord so we could build. In Discord, yeah, you know, you can't unmute your mic on this show. I can't hear from you. We can't bounce ideas around, you know, shit like that. There's limits to this platform right here. The same way that when you outside, it should be limits to the shit that you talk about when you outside. When you on a train and whatnot, it should be limits. When you in traffic, it should be limits. When you at the water cooler, it should be limits. There should be limits to the shit that you got, that you letting people know how you think. How you think. Yeah, the Hootie, drop the Discord link. Or Destiny, if you in the building, drop that link. People are asking for it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I think he might be embalmed. He might be embalmed. And I'm learning the code, HTML, CSS, and core foundational JavaScript. Giving myself 2 months to be up to speed. I will be building landing pages and websites. My focus is content editing, web manager. Celeste, you should pull up to the Discord and be a part of what it is that we're doing over there. That's all I got to say. You are definitely on the right path. This tweet right here, or this comment right here, I should pin this comment, because this is the importance of where we in right now. We're in the season of the winter, right? In a brand new fiscal year, when it's considered to be downtime, right? This is not time to be popping out. For my brothers and sisters that want to get back in shape and whatnot, who got to get back in the gym or back on the regimen and whatnot, this is the perfect time to do it. For anybody that wants to disappear so you could pop out when it's time to pop out and shut this shit down, this is the time to do it. For anybody who wants to invest in a new business and whatnot and get things going with ideas and concepts that they've been nursing, I would highly suggest that this would be the time that you properly put shit together and plan and plot and strategize. If there's anybody that wants to get a certification or an accreditation in an online course or inside of an online academy or whatnot, or you want to go to YouTube University and sharpen up your skills, hibernation season tends to be the best time to do these things. So I'm letting my audience know, if you were to ask me, Red, what would be the best decision to make in the next 30 to 60 days, based off of the climate of the economy, based off of what you see in the forecast, how shit is moving and whatnot, I will highly suggest, like I've highly suggested since 2012, I believe, learn the language of coding and computing, right? Please learn it. Learn the same way that you could be bilingual and learn multiple languages and whatnot. Just learn the computer language, learn the basics and whatnot. Definitely get HTML, CSS, and JavaScript under your belt, the foundations of it. Go and get that skill set. You will thank me later, right? And there's there's other hardcore shit that you could do. There's other hard body shit that you could do, right? But I'm like, yo, get that under your belt first and foremost, and then come and talk to us. You become an asset. You feel me? You become an asset, bro. That part. Give me 1 second. Oh. And for your children, for the homeschoolers that are out there. And I know that there's a bias in this community against technology, right? And there's a bias against the machines and shit like that. And what people say is is unnatural. I do understand and I do acknowledge that, and I get it, right? However, moderation is key. Moderation is key, right? So I'm not supporting, nor am I advocating for any type of addiction or addiction-like behavior or addictive-like behaviors, right? I'm advocating for a disciplined approach to learning about the new world that's being built around you. Come on now. It's a no-brainer. You're going to want to keep up with 5-year-olds, fam. You're going to want to keep up with the 10-year-olds. These COVID babies, bro, in 2030, this shit is going to be upside down. The COVID babies are going to be 10, bro. They not playing. I hate to tell you, bro. They not playing. They got plans. They might sign a contract with AI, my nigga. I don't know. They might turn into Allen Iverson around us because they got plans. They on their boss baby shit, bro. The COVID babies is boss baby, bro. When you sleep, they online doing shit. When you sleep, they at the altar altering. They different. I promise you. So I say all of that to say, pull up to the Discord. I got a lot of information. I got so much information. I gotta share it. I can't wait to share it. I'm excited. I'm exuberant. I'm very enthusiastic about what this year has to come, just in terms of, you know, because I'm big on completing projects and I'm big on bringing ideas or ideation into what is known as concept, and then concept into prototype, right? Meaning I'm big on materializing thought. Okay. That's what we have to do. For real, for real. I have met 10-year-old coders and 6-year-olds in robotics engineering. I'm just trying to share with y'all. We want to break our babies out of the victimhood consciousness. We don't want our children playing like victims and asking people for reparations and refund checks. You feel me? Yeah, the 4-year-olds is navigating. My son is at 2. My phone be locked. I come back, he's on my phone, bro. He's pulling up screens I never seen, bro. He was just on YouTube watching some dinosaur shit. Then he was playing with the mouse, and he pulled up a page, and they was code going through like the Matrix, bro. I was like, what we doing? What we doing? Where you came from? Here I'm talking about. Am I anti-reparations? Why are you so triggered? I'm not anti-reparations. What I said was, you don't want your little ones in 2030, right? Because they may not be able to provide for themselves. They may be lost in the digital race. They may be left in a subservient position. You don't want them to still be marching. You would want to have gotten the reparations before 2030 so you could boss them the fuck up and get them ready for the world that they're about to get into, because other people are raising their young ones. Other people are raising their indigos and their rainbows and their star seeds to be monsters in this shit. And a lot of us are leaving our babies in front of Vlad and World Star and Pornhub and Housewives. People be like, Housewives and Pornhub. There's a thin line between both of those sometimes. You got ladies fighting and showing cooch. Netflix, with all of the agendas that they got on Netflix, all of the rainbow agenda. Whatever streaming platform that the parents is just plopping the children in front of and leaving them in front of, yeah, it's doing a lot of programming. And it ain't telling them to learn how to code, my nigga. And it ain't telling them how to interface with Chat GPT, my nigga. And it ain't telling them how to tweak the motherfucking Stable Diffusion to create some $1 million shit. Yeah. They in front of Netflix. They in front of Netflix. Yeah, it's porn on Twitter, nigga. And on the gram. It's a lot of cheeks clapping on the gram, bruh. So when a young one is scrolling through, they in a red light district. So I'm talking about competing. You want to namaste your way through this shit? You on the wrong, you tapped into the wrong frequency. If you want to namaste your way through this shit, I do got yoga mats though. We could get it going, and I'm pro yoga. I'm pro all of that. I'm pro all of that. Cheeks clapping in the name of spirituality. It's listen, the thottery, listen. The goddesses done turned into thottises, man. It's a lot of clapping going on. You know what I'm talking about? I don't see too many you know how they got the little childproof fences and whatnot by the stairways. They done took those down. Ain't too many motherfucking childproof. The shit ain't childproof. They don't have the shit blocking the stairs no more. They like just learn how to climb up the stairs, little nigga. I'm just saying. There's no more plugs in the wall, childproof in the motherfucking outlets. No, nigga. It's all right there for them. They could see snuff films. They could see a little bit of porn. They could be hubbing with it. They seeing women tongue wrestling. You know what I'm talking about? They could live in Boise, Idaho and never seen this shit outside. But they on TikTok and it's weird on the talk, nigga. I don't even be on the talk like that. But when I do ski through the top, I'm like, this ain't daffodils and tulips. You know what I mean? Stakes is high. They doing a lot of shit over there. Yeah, ordering shit on Amazon, maxing out the card. They spending all of that money on Robux. On Robux. Draining the wallet. Come on now. Come on now. So I'm like, don't get all preachy. Let's not get all sacrilegious right now. Right? They exposed. So the next step would be to expose them to some power. And they say, speak the language of the babies. And the babies are digital. Come on now. That's their language. They high resolution. Yeah, it all began with Grand Theft Auto. That was the onboarding event. That was the onboarding event. So they're growing up at a fast pace. At 10 years old, they're going to be grown. They're going to be more grown than we were at 10. At 13, I was active, right? At 13, I was active. I was outside. I was active. I was with the shits, and I had my hand in a lot of shit. You feel me? We were active at 13. So my generation is familiar with that baby face gangster shit, right? This new generation that's in front of us right now, the ones that was born in like the early mixtape Wheezy era, right? Chief Keef era. Little niggas born the Obama. You know what I mean? These are Obama babies. Born in 08. Born in 2010. Right? Now they 12 and 13. Oh, they turned. My son was born in 07. Oh, they turned. You feel me? They with the shits. So that's the generation that is going to be desensitized to a lot of shit because they got exposed to mad shit, bro. They got exposed to a lot. So it's like, boom. The age of the killers and the drillers and the young boys that got beef and smoke, right? It's almost what it was in my generation. Because I don't even think that they was getting busy at 11 when I was coming up. It started around 12 and 13. They started bodying shit, robbing shit. You had 13-year-olds knocking out 30-year-olds later. An NFL player just died on field, Buffalo versus Cincinnati. Rising Power, right? Rising Power, the Pointer Sisters. One of the Pointer Sisters left. Rising Power, Barbara Walters, Pope Benedict. Yeah, them gates is open. You know what I'm talking about? We in the winter seasons. Them gates is open. And it's the retro in Mercury and in Mars. You know what I'm talking about? Pinky turned you out. Yeah, Pinky turned a lot of us out, brother. Don't worry about it. Remember Dominique Simone? Yeah, I'll take it back on your ass. Was the football player? Is this a died suddenly type of thing that we're dealing with? Gangsta Boo, right? The overdose. Big Scar, the overdose, right? Both happened in Memphis. Am I correct? Right? My heart is in Memphis. That fentanyl from China, right? That Fetty Wap. That Fetty Wappington, right? Yeah, Janet Jack me. Yeah. Whew. But who remembers Dominique Simone, though? Y'all playing games. You know? But it was Janet for me too, bro. Dominique Simone was chocolate. She had the long weave. But yeah, man. That's what raised us. Right? And that's what's raising this generation. But they get to, in our days, we didn't see that shit. Remember, we had to watch BET After Dark, Uncut. They seeing shit on the reality shows. You know what I mean? Like, remember, the producers even said in the interview that it started with I Love New York, the Flavor Flav thing. He was like, we created this cast of women to be almost identical to women in the porn industry. That's why they were giving them weird names and they were highly sexualizing them and shit like that. And then it just started taking off like that to where you can't differentiate between the two like that. You know what I mean? It was a mass normalization. So now sex industry and that culture, you know, the same culture that people is trying to fight against with they're like, yo, burn down Jeff Epstein and all of that. But, you know, those things are intricately related in a sense. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, public access channels after night, Robin Bird, right? That was the lady with the big boobs with the baby powder on it. Pele, Brazilian soccer star Pele. It's a lot of, it's a lot of people checking out already. So I'm not out here like the moral police. Don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? I'm free spirited. I could speak about these things and I can speak about it in a way where it's not cringeworthy. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just being, I'm an adult. I'm adulting. And I'm talking to adults. When I did the roll call, all of y'all is from gangster ass towns and shit like that. Y'all know what it is. Drop the link for the Discord again. Drop the link for the Discord again. He collapsed on field tonight. Yeah, so they've been trying to hide this whole thing about athletes around the world. Who was it that just tweeted that they said about, I think it was it John Stockton with the assist? And once again, we on these people's platform, right? But he put out a tweet that said there's $20K on athletes alone. Talk black to me. They're trying to cover it up, but when things like that happen in broad day on live television, they have to address it, okay? They're going to be forced to address it. They're going to have to show their hands. And when the name of that documentary, look, they was talking bad about Hebrews to Negroes, take it down, Amazon this, and all of this other stuff. But you never heard them mention died suddenly. They didn't make a wrong. They wasn't raised in hell about bats because they don't even want to say its name. They don't even want to repeat its title because we live in an attention age. And when you say something, it's going to make people go and see it. You know what I'm talking about? The athletes, the rappers, the musicians, a queen and a pope taking off the death board. The funeral industry said the funeral industry had a 30% increase, right? They was like, damn, we didn't know this shit was going to be this lit. This was in 2022. And the sister brought that up. And I didn't even put that in my end of the year thing. I didn't throw that in there, but that's something that needs to be spoken about. I might even do a add on to that end of the year on one of these on a YouTube. I might even, because I already done added about 20 other slides to the presentation. You feel me? It's so much shit going down. So many things happening, crossing right over, but it's all part of that narrative. That's an invisible demarcation line. January 1st and all of that shit. It's still shit going. You know what I mean? It's a motherfucking stream. We be chopping it up in years and whatnot, but that bitch is a motherfucker. It's days. It's a stream of events that are taking place that continue one after another, cause and effect, y'all. So back to the thing in New York that I was talking about with the youth and whatnot, they just put a law on January 1st, right? They just put a law out. Because theoretically, that's really what this New Year shit is. That's when these laws are reenacted. That's when Lulu gets into office and people get inaugurated and shit. It's the resetting of this government. But yeah, they just put a law out that said they will not prosecute any juveniles in New York City underneath the age of 12 for anything. I think they even said including murder. Right? So when I heard that, I said, interesting. I want to get on my journalistic shit. Let me see something. What I will do is I'll pull the article up. So when I read that, I'm like, woo, this is interesting, right? I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate, of course, of saving the youth. Of course, you know what I mean? It's definitely saving the youth. There's experiences that the youth go through when they go to juvenile detention and whatnot that I wouldn't wish on anybody, right? The trauma that comes with getting put in a cage, the trauma that comes with, being criminalized and whatnot. This is the New York Senate Gov, right? Because sometimes there's articles on the New York Post, shit like that. And then people be like, that's cap. You know what I mean? We've been put under this whole thing about fake news. So here we go. This is on New York State Senate page. So I'm just sharing with y'all to give it its validity. Children under the age of 12 will no longer face arrest and prosecution for virtually all crimes in New York under a bill signed into law late this week by Governor Kathy Hochul, right? Keep in mind, Governor Kathy Hochul was the one that came in when Governor Cuomo got ousted because of his sexual crimes that they decided not to prosecute, and they made it go all the way, right? In the night when everybody was asleep, and they basically decided not to prosecute. They ran him out of office and whatnot, got him out the way, brought her in. She's pro Jabbington. You feel me? She's from Buffalo, right? Interestingly enough, okay, Buffalo happens to be in New York State, right? And Buffalo is in the state of New York. She happens to be the governor of New York. She's not the mayor of New York. She happens to be the governor of New York State. New York State is enormous. I tell people I could drive 14 hours in the opposite direction from Brooklyn and I will still be in New York. Did you know that? I'll be in Plattsburgh. Think about that. From Brooklyn, I could get in a whip and I could go 14 hours and I'll still be in New York State. When they lock up New York City people, that's what niggas say they shipped us to the mountains. When you hear the rappers and when you hear New York people talk about getting shipped off to the mountains, that's what they talking about. They shipping you out 9 hours into a hick town where everybody is related, people under the stairs and whatnot, and you are the main economy for that whole little town. And they get tax money off of you. These are 7-foot crackers with tattoos of black babies with nooses around their necks, bodying young black men behind the wall. So they ship us out to the mountains. They ship us. New York is humongous, the Adirondack Mountains and all of that. Yeah, it's big. So she's the governor of the whole new. So when the shit happened in Buffalo with the 10 black people, mostly elders, and you had the brother who he was one of the inventors of the hydrogen car, and then you had a sister who was an icon in the civil rights movement. Let me know, especially if you live in New York City or the tri-state area, did you hear her make any fuss about that? Did you hear her? Did she really advocate for those people that lost their life? Did you hear her? Like, was it Pray for Boston coming from this mayor, this governor? And she's from Buffalo. It don't get no weirder than that. This young race soldier, he drove 4 hours right to her home city, and committed not just a mass murder. He committed a hate crime. He live streamed it. He put out a manifesto that was 180 pages that I read, and the shit was crazy. That we'll go through shit like that in the Discord. You understand? It's things like that we could go over in the Discord, even though Discord is not necessarily decentralized as well. That's why I said that's the stepping stone. Radio silence. Crickets. Maybe a press release, my niggas. You know what I'm talking about? Do I have the crickets? Bruh. That part. Crickets, nigga. Know things about, oh, imagine if somebody came into a synagogue and did that type of thing. It goes back to what I was saying about Dylan Roof in South Carolina. He killed Senator Pickney. Now you got Chat GPT, you can ask it. He killed Senator Pickney and 9 others. They say that he killed a preacher. Please go and do. So hold on. Because I want to show you intent, right? I want to show you intent. I want to show you how these people be playing with us, right? And how this thing is a game. And it's like we live in we have to be living in different and alternative universes, right? Because this shit right here, I'm gonna show you the screen. This shit right here. If a senator had got killed by a Hebrew Israelite, right? So I Googled Senator Pickney killed, Charleston shooting, State Senator Clementa Pickney among the victims. Come on, fam. Come on, fam. Check this out. They think, oh, hold on. You're not playing with me. You're not gonna stop my thing. Boom. Oh, they're trying to block my shine. Check this out. Charleston shooting. We hacked right through that. Charleston shooting. State Senator Clementa Pickney among victims. 41. This is a young man. 41-year-old was a pastor of Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church, where a gunman opened. I went to that church, matter of fact, almost a year ago, I think. Okay, sacred grounds. Look, Clementa Pickney, a high-flying Democrat state senator who campaigned for police to wear body cameras, was one of those killed in the mass shooting at the historic Black church in Charleston, South Carolina on Wednesday. The 41-year-old was a pastor of the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church, where a gunman believed to be white opened fire in what officials are treating as a hate crime. Come on, fam. Y'all ain't march for that? You didn't march for that? He didn't get they didn't turn up against white supremacy in the Black church after that. They didn't go ahead and do SWAT raids and bring people from Afghanistan back to America to declare war on these homeland terrorists after that. Nobody they didn't put homie in the chair for that yet. But they just executed somebody who robbed a gas station. Nobody talks about that. Nobody brings that up. How, Sway? It's impossible. In America, if you do something to a senator, right, there's consequences to that. Dylan Roof got taken to Burger King after he was absconded, right? Dylan Roof is treated like a rock star in all quote unquote circles of the right and whatnot. Go in 4chan and shit like that and put Dylan Roof for president. Niggas will follow you. And they forgave him. And then Hillary. I think something happened when he died. Somebody took his place. But I know that him and Hillary there was a connection with Hillary and him. So nobody ever ruled out the fact that this could be some type of political hits to be going down. You know, under the disguise of they just didn't like each other or they got radicalized on the internet. They never give you no information about who these people were following, what video. When they take their computers, you never hear nothing. The same situation in the Buffalo case, he pleaded guilty. Why? Because you can't have that go to trial. Too much information will come out. He was linked in with a federal agent, right? And nobody had anything. I didn't see a manhunt for the federal agent. I didn't see anything. We're talking about the Buffalo mass killing, the Buffalo massacre that took place in May of 2022, right? And then Buffalo just went through what they went through. Was the player that fell on the field? Please tell me he's not a Buffalo Bill. Please tell me it's not a Buffalo Bill. But did that happen in Buffalo? Yeah, in the open. In the open. You can't kill a senator in a church? Come on, that was a Bills player, man. 50 people just died out there on Christmas. Huh? In a snowstorm. And not a snowstorm. It was a snowpocalypse. A snow blizzard. It was a bomb that went off, they said. A cyclone blizzard bomb. Come on, fam. Did you see the footage of Buffalo? You ain't see the Buffalo shit, bro. Pray for Buffalo. It was different. It was different, bro. And they used to cold weather out there. You feel me? They used to it. I don't know what's going on with that energy. But I think some people is upset. Shout out to Griselda. Look at that. It's happened before, right? U.S. went to death toll, raises it to 61. Death climbs to 6. It's happened in Buffalo. They've had big storms like way, way back in the days, right? But this one they said came out of nowhere. That's why, when you prepare for a storm, there was no preparation because they didn't even see it coming. How about that? They ain't even see it coming, fam. People wouldn't have went to work if they knew there was going to be some snowpocalypse. They said that they didn't even know. It's different. Sister got trapped in a car 6 minutes from her house and froze in her car. Hypothermia, fam. Was tweeting her family in North Carolina. Right? Imagine being 6. I was in a snowstorm in New York coming from a funeral in 2019. Me and my whiz. I believe it might have been on my birthday or something. Fam. I was like 8 minutes from my crib. I seen it on a GPS. It took me like 5 hours to get to the crib, bro. And it was a snowstorm that came out of nowhere. Same type of thing. Had cars sliding and shit. You know what I'm talking about? You could not move. Everything was stuck. If you were in New York, you remember that when that shit popped up out of nowhere in November. 30 dead in New York. Come on, fam. What's the gematria for Buffalo? Is Delbert Blair did the Weather Wars, correct? I remember Rich asked me about CERN. I said CERN is CERNing and whatnot. Blue pill. I'm talking all of this shit about the winter storm. Blue pill got on Black Magic 363, right? He got on Black Magic 363, Brother Rich's channel. Last week, he bodied that shit. He broke it down. He explained what was taking place. There's some solar flares that went off that broke through. You know? Shit is getting compromised. But then he also talked about the metaphysical the symbolism of Tory Lanez, Daystar, the Leo, the sun, right? Getting put into purgatory right around that same time. And that whole polarizing conversation or that argument that began to get even more inflamed online between the polar opposites in this year of duality 2022 between the male and the female, the gender wars. That was one of the last battles of the year. You know what I'm talking about? And the Stallions won, nigga. 40-something flares came in. You know what I'm talking about? She went to sleep in the car while it was running. Snow covered the exhaust pipe. Look at that. Come on, man. Look at that shit, bro. She went to sleep. This was the sister in Buffalo. She went to sleep in her car. And you know what I mean? Carbon monoxide. So yeah, you know, I'm just giving, I'm bringing certain things to light. You know what I mean? They flooded in California now, right? There's some floods in Cali. Yeah. Yeah, we was talking about the player collapsing. I recommended that everybody go and check out Died Suddenly. You know, it's on Rumble. You might even have it on the tube and whatnot. You watch everything else. If a nigga could watch Dharma, you could watch Died Suddenly. That's my philosophy. You know what I'm talking about? If you could watch Dharma, if you could watch 99%, if you could watch the whole BMF series and the documentary and the cartoon, you know what I mean? They gotta have BMF cereal before they finish with this shit. Shout out to Meech. Flooding and earthquake yesterday. Yeah. What did Source God say? The Vatican is getting exposed. Come on, baby. You better be on your toes. That's what Source God said. You know what I'm talking about? The Vatican getting exposed. So we ended the calendar year with the Hitler Pope saying bye-bye, tapping out. Him and the Lizard Queen, they make a great duo together. Look at that. I wish I could have seen that episode. You know? Hey, look, a match made in heaven. Symbolically, what they both represented, though. Fuck the symbolism. On paper, on facts, what they represented. The amount of bodies on both hands. Based off of what they represented, what they tied to, what set they banging. What set they claiming. The big steppers with the red shoes. So Pope John Paul, his whole shit was invigorated through Ye. he was on the front of the White Lives Matter t-shirt, right? We live in a time where the attention that you give is the energy that you give. This is not just the attention economy because we said it is. This is indicative of a day and time that we're in where the energy of the attention, which you consciousness, which you pay attention to, it's a whole nother, it's a whole nother cost value that comes with that. So the attention that Ye was getting just for wearing that shirt, nigga, the attention that's attached to that, and the fact that that shit was, you know, he spiraled. This is what he upholds. This is what he's standing for, right? He rocking with these niggas, right? That's what he banging for. He banging for these niggas. He told that Jesus shit tied to these niggas. Then we got Queen Elizabeth, right? And her reign of terror. So what a way to bookend the year, right? What a way to bookend the year, man. What a way to close this bitch out. You know what I'm saying? What a way to close it out, bro. The great divine speaks through signs, and goddamn it, it was speaking. It was speaking. It was tweaking. You know? There's a lesson in this whole thing, and it don't stop. But I would be remiss if I didn't, you know, bring in my special guest to add on to this conversation, because this brother here, you know, he's been laying the groundwork. He's been carrying that torch and that flame and that staff and whatnot. You know, they say you burn down Babylon through the word, and nobody has been on these niggas' heels this year, right? More than our good brother Pope Pablo, aka Blue Pillar. Peace to the God.
Peace, family.
Indeed, indeed. Greetings, man. Good evening and welcome back to the platform.
Yeah, good evening. I like that word better.
Yes.
You know, it's a different type of year. You know, you got to earn peace on this planet. You feel me? And there's a lot of work that still needs to be done by way of wars where you achieve, you know, your level of peace. Even if you're warring against yourself, even if you're warring against ignorance, even if you're warring against principalities, peace is a state that's, you know, you're not, you know, it's not something you got to achieve it. You know, it's the mountaintop. And how can you be at a state of peace if everything around you is so unpeaceful, if everything is so unsettling? So we're in a constant state of war right now against ignorance, against principalities, you know, against people's refusal to just see what's in front of their face. You know, we are literally living in the age of Bird Box right now. And, you know, there's so many things that have to precede those labels of peace, love, and light. You know, so I've been going on my campaign, and I'm not going Darth on people. I just have this streak of realness that I feel that we deserve this in this time, you know, in this God year. If we're really going to get to Godding, it's not a passive, it's a very active principle, and it requires the level of work and dedication that I normally don't see from, you know, this passive community called consciousness, where we think that we can throw catechisms and just words around these feel-goodisms, and they're really disarming mechanisms for people to just, once again, these are dopamine hits so people can feel good, and you're going to get fleeced and finessed by all of the scammers out here that's just using these words like love. Like, how can a nigga that's not healed, you know, admittingly, everybody tells you that the healer needs healing and everybody's dealing with traumas. How the fuck somebody's telling you that they love you and you sitting there believing them? I've never seen love a day in my life in this community, because You got to stand on the legs of trust, integrity, truth, an aspect of faith, not religious based, but you believing in yourself in order to know who you are. We don't see none of that. Admittingly, everybody's still healing. So how the fuck we get around to loving? Start with appreciation first. When you feel that this community is showing you appreciation, you will know it. And then you'll feel appreciated.
Fact. That's the fact.
Right? You'll show up with a glow on you. You'll be dealing with gratitude. You could celebrate through the good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. But now we're dealing with stress, anxiety, and depression at an all-time high, even in this community, because people have been selling false premises for so long, and it's become so weighty, and these words mean nothing. So they become so heavy, right? But they don't exist. So it's an amorphous idea. It's non-tangible. You can't put your hands around it, and I'm tired of it. So I came to just destroy this shit to rebuild it in the God year so we could really get to some God in it, And, first and foremost, we have to, so what has a stranglehold on the mind of our people? We know that religion is one of the main things. When I look at the arguments and the frustration and the back and forth that's taking place in our communication with FBAs, people from the continent, Aboriginal indigenous versus autonomous indigenous, just through words, niggas is fighting and wanting to pluck each other's heads off. But I've yet to see one of these niggas formulate a plan of attack against any principalities that got their whole entire foot up the ass of melanated people for 400 years straight, since January 2nd, matter of fact, 1492. There's not been one day that the cracker has not had his foot firmly planted up the behind of melanated people on this planet. You can't tell me one day of celebration where melanated people diasporically can celebrate a W on a fucking scoreboard against their enemies. And don't tell me about January 1st, 1804, because they kicked the French out. They kept the fucking That's not a W.
To this day.
That's not a W. That's like taking the tick off the fucking dog and leaving the head in, nigga. It's not a W. It's momentary feel-goodism, and you exposed and showed your hand, and you've been paying the price ever since. And it was blood contracts that was made with souls. I'm not even gonna get into it. But that wasn't a W, but it still led to some very instrumental and monumental things for melanated people diasporically. So we still should be celebrating January 1st and January 2nd should be our days of celebration, coupled with the fact that December 31st is when Sirius, our mother star, is at her highest point, and she requires our honor, our observation, and our stillness on that day because she got downloads for us. This is when our brains get washed of all of the negativity, and you wake up anew on January 1st when mama come. But what is niggas doing? Shooting automatic weapons at the sky. How you think she takes that? How you think she? Niggas is busting at me. What the clouds do to you? You wasting all that ammo. You know how hard ammo's to come by these days.
Facts. These niggas was dumping.
And they running routes and plays. Yeah, they setting up plays. It's the purge going on right now, and niggas is losing motherfucking ammo shooting at the sky. What did the clouds do to you? So, it's just this level of motherfucking psychosis that I'm just not participating in. And I'm like, yo, if I'm going to say anything, I'm going to speak against the bullshit and the ignorance. I'm going to go to war against that. I'm going to put my, life force energy into that. And then we could peace, love, and light at the picnic come spring or summer, and we could celebrate these W's that were hard earned. We could motherfucking talk about war stories and compare our war scars, right? And that's that. But you're not going to passively get there to the mountaintop. You're not going to float to the mountaintop. You're not going to motherfucking go to sleep and just wake up on the mountaintop. No, you got to hike that bitch. So this is you know the long motherfucking hike. This is the ascension. You know, with bricks in the backpack to get the calves right. Endurance, right? Man the fuck up. Let's get to it. So yeah, you know, on the last day, you know, put the Pope in the box so we could clear the air. It was fog everywhere throughout the whole country. How do you explain that?
Facts. It was
In a
super
week prior,
foggy.
in a week prior to that, on that the weekend prior to that, it was snow everywhere and ice everywhere and cold temperatures everywhere. Today it's
Right.
rain in the northern, in the southern, in the western hemisphere of the country, in the northern part of that country. The floods is going bonkers up in California, and they just got hit with an earthquake.
Yeah.
And we only on the second day, and mad people is dead. Earth, Wind, and
Mad.
Fire, Pointer Sisters,
Wait,
Barbara
who from
Walters,
Earth Wind and Fire?
one of the white brothers, one of the
Mm,
brothers, the one of the main ones just died. Ernest, I think his name is. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second.
right.
Yeah, man, shit going down. Fred White, my bad.
Fred White.
Fred
Right,
White.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Fred White,
right.
Maurice's brother, I believe. Yeah, so he transitioned. It's Matt, Gangsta Boo. May she rest in peace. The Devil's
The
Daughter,
Devil's
she
Daughter.
transitioned. So on the 31st, the Devil's Dog or the Devil's Son, Devil's Son gets out here on the last day. And on the first day of the God year, the Devil's Daughter gets up out of here. When the Dog Star is at its highest point, when Mama was here, and we know what Mama represent, we know what the dog represent, right? She's the queen bitch. Ain't you can't bitch more bitch than the bitch of the Dog Star. I didn't say gangster boo. I said serious mama or set. She's the bitch of all bitches. Take your concept of what the etymology of that word means, right? Because the Commission and the Meduneta existed before French, distorted our language. The French inverted everything with the French Masonic Brotherhood, and they made things that would seemingly be good, seemingly bad. And they came up with
Right.
this concept of a curse word. Don't abide by that. A female dog is a bitch. The dog star is a female star. It is all set. That's who she been. Get out your feelings, right? And these women run around calling themselves bitches until the motherfucking sun come up. So stop it. Don't get puritanical with me. Let me cook. Feel me? So yeah, it's all about symbolism, right? I'm not putting my symbolism away to make nobody feel safe. You know what I'm saying? What I hashtag nobody's safe. I already told you that. And it's not personal. We have to break these spells on our consciousness. Do you know that an NFL player just died on the field?
From Buffalo. We was talking about that.
Yeah, from
We
Rough
was
Buck,
getting into it. Yeah,
right?
we was talking about that.
He collapsed and he died suddenly, right? So when I put the John Stockton post up, right, niggas was all in there, logistical, practical. Oh, it's 1,000. Can I have names? No, nigga, you don't need names. Did you see the documentary?
Right.
So anybody who saw the documentary and you still are pretending that what you saw, you ain't see them niggas fighting spirits like Bird Box. And if you didn't see the documentary, you have no business online making comments about a motherfucking thing or no entertainment. You should stop everything that you doing. We should have a motherfucking a national rollout in theaters to watch that movie. We should have a town hall meeting. Why are these niggas dying and fighting spirits like they seen the nigga that came at the crossroads when their eyes turned black? Come on, man. I know you synced that shit. And if you didn't see it, stop this fucking program. Because this will only amount to entertainment for you. And go get you some education that can save you and your family's life. Because you better do something quick to reverse the curse. Because if you saw what I saw, it's like an angel of death was coming and snatching these niggas' lives from them. And then they was pulling whole fucking aliens out of them, calling them blood clots. What blood clot is 3 feet? All black. What blood clot is that? These niggas is pulling fucking aliens out of these people. And then the microscopic, when they were showing you the jab under the microscope last year, they were showing you that the shit was a hydra. They show you that it was alien DNA. Now the alien has grown into a life form just 3 feet in these fucking people, and it occupies the same size of their arteries, and it's sucking the life, is using the fucking people as hosts. And that's why niggas is acting so weird out here. Stop playing with this shit that's in your face like you got the blindfolds on like Bird Box, and you're willingly being blind at this point in time because you don't want to see the truth of the matter. Motherfucking Biden going to goddamn St. Croix at the same. Come on, man. What's going on?
Right.
It's just too much. And we already 2 days in. It's too much. This shit is off the fucking charts. And all of the signs is fucking spray. It's just written on the wall.
Nah, when I seen that shit, when I seen that play, I was like, God damn, they don't got no fucking, there's no chill right now. When they went and fired homegirl, and Biden went, this nigga went to Virgin Islands to get her canned.
There. How you gonna pop up in a Virgin Islands? Remember, those are called the Twin Islands of St. Croix and St. Thomas. November 14, 1493, that was the very first place in the place called Salt Bay, right? Or Arrow Cave. That's the very first place that the blood was spilled for Columbus's men. They got off the boat and they encountered some natives, and the natives bodied them on sight. The Arawaks. Yeah. They clipped them on sight, and that started the first blood spilling of Columbus and the colonizers ever on this particular hemisphere, because everybody else was playing motherfucking curtsy with them. When our people, because our people's from that area, from St. Croix, when our people seen them, they set it off, and they have been at war with that island ever since. 7 countries have flown flags and tried to domesticate those people. There was the first full-flung slave revolt came on our island of St. John, where our people is from, before 1804. 1804 was inspired by the slave revolt that happened in the 1700s in St. Croix, or St. John for that matter, first. When you talk about the 4 queens that burnt the whole island down, nobody talks about these histories. Was the Queen Nanny?
Hold on, bro. I'm going to go there real quick. So this story right here, y'all, this story is dealing with Epstein, right? Attorney General fired after filing lawsuit about Epstein's private island. Now, she already booked his family, right? She sued the Epstein family for running that shit on the island and caught the lawsuit. Then she went to sue the banks.
The banks.
JP Morgan, the same people that kicked Ye out, right? That made him boot him. She went after them. Biden flew to the Virgin Islands under the disguise of a vacay and got her clipped.
Facts.
Okay.
You don't fuck with the women of this island, bro. These are the women that turned up and revolted and upended these crackers. They don't tell you these stories, but you can Google it.
I just Googled it.
There was 4 queens. Yeah. Talk about it.
1733 slave insurrection on St. John, right? So you know about the 1804, but the first insurrection was in 1733, November the 23rd, right? In the month of Scorpio, right after Scorpio.
Right.
It was planned in Scorpio.
Right, the beginning of Sag, yes.
Yeah, beginning of Sag, planned in Scorpio, okay? At the time of 1733, hundreds of Akwuma people were among the slave population of St. John. Early in the morning of November the 23rd, a small group of enslaved people entered the Danish West India Company's fort in Coral Bay, St. John. Okay. Hold on. Okay, y'all can see that. Boom.
All right, so the word is coming out that play is alive. He didn't die. Thank you.
Okay.
He's fighting for his life.
Great, thankful.
Pray up
that conversation, yes, and Right. Salute to him. It will create the conversation that needs to be had on a national scale, though. One of somebody Skip, all it takes is Skip or your boy Big Shay's Clubhouse, Shannon Sharp, to say died suddenly, right? The key is not to say that name in the mass media. Same way that they didn't want to say Hebrews, they would just say the thing that Kyrie tweeted, right? Because they know in the attention economy, all you got to do is just say the name. The people are going to decide if it's what they say it is or not. They're still going to go watch it. They're going to search for it. They're going to want to know what's going on. So this is the revolt, right? They snuck into the fort. They disguised themselves under the guise of a firewood delivery for the fort soldiers. They hid cane knives within the stacks of wood that they carried. They took the soldiers at the fort by surprise, killing all the soldiers there but one. After taking the fort, these freedom fighters fired the fort's cannon. The shots were the signal to St. John's enslaved community that insurrection was underway. The roots of the insurrection, however, stretched back long before that November morning. Okay, and we'll go deeper into that, but that's the skinny, right? That's the skinny of it. So you understand what those people on that island is about and what they've been about, and the fact that you see this. Mm-hmm.
Pull up the Four Queens, because that was the Four Queens was a different slave revolt. This was the one in 1733 in St. John. The Four Queens is in St. Croix, right across the river. So our families from St. John's, the Rockefellers stole 200 acres of pristine paradise land from our ancestors in St. John's. We was just there in 2019 on the land that they stole, right? And they gave it to the national park. Our people is still in the courts right now filing lawsuits against the Rockefeller family who stole over 200 acres. We got like 20 something acres left. And when I'm telling you, this is pristine paradise.
Pristine.
Right? Pristine. Like you can see little St. James Island and all of that right off of where our people is at. Right down the block from where they took our people's land. Dick Cheney got a crib. What's the other cracking name?
Bloomberg.
Bloomberg got the crib. This is St. John. It's only where billionaires live. Like this is you can Google St. John's. This is the most pristine, elite island in all of the Caribbean, and that's where our people is from. You know what I'm saying? So this is personal. We're really tied up with these people, fucking fighting to get our ancestors' land back from them. You know what I mean?
So, yes, here's the story, y'all. For the three rebel queens, even after the abolition of slavery, conditions in the Danish colony were very tough. Frustration and unrest were brewing. In 1878, a violent rebellion took place in which houses, sugar mills, sugar fields, and over half the city of Frederiksted burnt down. Three women, Mary, Agnes, and Matilda, were especially active in the rebellion. Today, they are considered heroines in the islands. Now, this was the energy that Dr. Sebi was channeling when he was on the mountains of St. Croix, when he was talking about Mama, when he was talking about the warrior queens, when he was talking about that goddess energy. This was where he was tapping into barefoot, right? As an electric, this is who was giving the charge. The folklore, right? The folklore in St. Croix, around the mountains and around the goat lady and stuff like that. Crazy. So you have a slave rebellion before 1808, and they were able to defeat the Danish. The Danish authorities harshly put down the rebellion. Around 100 of the black population lost their lives, most of them shot and fighting with the military. Only 3 Europeans were killed during the rebellion, 2 soldiers and 1 plantation owner. Now, you know that's cap. Immediately after the rebellion, court martials were established in Frederiksted and Christiansted. 12 people were given death sentence and shot immediately. 39 were given a death sentence and sent to Copenhagen. However, 34 of them later had their sentences commuted to hard labor, and the last 5 to imprisonment with hard labor for life. Among the latter were the 3 queens, Mary, Agnes, and Matilda, right? So they didn't want to martyr them, right? They did not want to martyr them because they know if they killed them, they would become martyrs. And then they would be able to call on them. They would be able to be symbols and whatnot. Say that again, Blue.
They will be able to channel that energy and bring in that spirit. You feel me?
Right.
And somebody in the chat, yeah, he touching on it. The Crawford lady, right? And Mary Poe, they was talking about the goat lady. They had these these tales, these fables on the island that you couldn't go certain places or you was gonna get got by the Crawford lady. Remember that?
Right. Yeah.
Had us terrified.
They had me in fear. What you talking about? Everybody was in line, my nigga. We lived in a mountain. Yeah. They'd be like, do not go into the mountain, bro. You're gonna get got. You know. Matilda is a movie at Disney. Yeah, you know, shit, like the Moors is in Disney. But, you know, look how Great Divine is working. We got family members in the building. They're like, yo, that's my grandmother.
Wow.
You know? So these stories, right, are stories that have to be told, you know? Going back to what I was saying earlier in the program about the technology that we now possess, it's open source, so we all possess it, right? So meaning that when something is open source, we should look at it differently. It's a gift to all. So we could take the technology and we could take stories like this, right? And we could do something with it, finally. That's the freaky deaky Dutch. You dig? So yeah, man. Let's talk about this Pope, bro. Let's talk about this Pope. A lot of people don't know the significance of what just took place and the symbolism of it and what he represents. You know?
Yeah, so Joseph Ratzinger, right, was a Nazi youth. Okay, at the age of 14, this cocksucker from Bavaria, Germany, all right, enters the Nazis' youth camp, right? As they say, all youth at that time were, made to do. You feel me? Don't matter, nonetheless. Okay, that's where he was, and that's what he did. Right? He joined up with the youth, with the Nazi youth. You know what I'm saying? And let me get you some facts, just in case you need some hard, concrete proof about any of this information that we're sharing with you.
Are you able to share your screen by any chance?
Yeah, I don't have it on my screen though. I got it on my phone. Feel me?
Yeah. Might be able to, I think I might have it on my keynote. Let me see something.
Yeah, from Nazi youth to the papacy. All right. Ratzinger was born on the 16th of April in 1927, 44 resonator, in Mark T. Am in Bavaria, right? Bavaria is in Germany. That's the home of the Illuminati. But prior to that, that was the home of the Moors, right? That is where Benedict the Moor, the African Moor, the Ethiopian Moor, the patron saint of Germany comes from, okay? Hence the fact that he had to take on the name of Benedict once he became Pope Paul, because he was tapping into the Moorish Pope. All right. immediately coming after Pope John Paul, and he would preside during the reign of the Moorish president, the 44th president over here, Barack Hussein Obama. That's a whole nother story. Okay, all of
Right.
this being a repetitious response to the rise of the Moors, not the organization that you might hear about, but the Moorish revival that was taking place in the U.S. with the paperwork and us pushing the envelope, and they had to respond. You know what I'm saying? So they install a Moorish president and they install a Moorish pope. Both of them a diversion and an inversion, not the real thing, but the symbol of it to push back against it. And remember, this is all a crusade. So he becomes a member of the Hitler Youth, right? And yeah, they just skipped to that. He became a priest in 1951, and he was made a cardinal in 1977. And when Pope John Paul made transition, okay, he took over, right?
Right.
And he stepped down on February 11th, uh, 2013, a year to the day of when Whitney Houston died. Okay. Um, he was engulfed and embroiled in a lot of different controversies, right? The most famous being Vatican leaks, when they put out all of the Vatican documents about them cooking their books. But he also was implicated in a lot of the cover up for the priests, right? The pedophilic priests, okay?
Right.
And his name also was implicated in a bunch of other scandals dealing with the church. He was the first pope in 600 years to resign and step down from his post. It was never done in that particular fashion, especially with a pope still living on the grounds. He was what's called a pope emeritus, which is almost like a pope in waiting. Instead of him going back to a bishop or a cardinal and stepping off, there was two popes at the same time. He returned the favor and made Pope John Paul a saint, and he beautified Pope John Paul and made him a saint in unprecedented time. You know, normally they have to be dead for a long time, and they did a ceremony where they beautified four of them at the same time. They rushed them through. You know what I'm saying? So this dude has always been mired in controversy. He's always looked like a fucking devil. You know what I'm saying? He's always looked like a demon spawn. And interestingly enough,
Like
when they
homie
make
from Star
transition,
Wars.
huh? Yeah,
Like
he
homie
also
Star
came
Wars
out
Emperor.
coincidentally with the Lord Sith of the Star Wars. All of this was taking place. We was tracking it when it was taking place during that time, right? When the Star Wars came out and shit, and he was Lord Sith. Remember we used to call him that? Like, oh, this shit is Lord Sith and all that. They just threw the Pope in the goddamn movie. And just I guess it went over people's head. They ain't see that. Anyway, so when they make transition, they start releasing documents that, you know, they write letters. You know what I mean? Like when people do suicide and shit, and then they come out with their notes and everything.
Right.
So yeah, once he transitioned, they start releasing some documents about him, and his personal secretary today said that the devil worked against him. Right. This is what he was saying. This was uh
Statement.
his reason. Yeah, this was his grievances. Retired Pope
Yeah.
Benedict's longtime personal secretary has given an interview in which he says he believes the devil was working against Benedict throughout his papacy, but the scandals which erupted during his reign had nothing to do with his historic resignation. Right? Speaking to the Italian newspaper La Repubblica, German Archbishop George Gonsuin said the word scandal was perhaps a bit strong to describe the many crises that erupted during Benedict's papacy, but that it's true that during the pontificate there were many problems, from financial and clerical abuse crises to troubles with the Vatican Bank and the so-called Vatican leaks incident in which confidential documents were leaked to the press. It's obvious, as Pope Francis would say, that the bad guy, the evil one, the devil, doesn't sleep. Okay, so it's clear he always tries to hit where the nerves are exposed to do the most damage, he said, saying he could often feel the devil at work. And I felt him very against Pope Benedict.
Mm.
So you have to couple that admission that these people are saying, right? Once again, saying about the house where God's supposed to live, right? This is the house that Peter built. This is the Vatican.
Right.
This is supposed to be the most holy, sanctified place on the planet because the vicegerent of Jesus Christ himself resides there, which is the Pope. So if the Pope can't fend off the devil, right, or what Pope Francis calls an elegant demon, he didn't even say, and he said this last week. He said that he said this on Christmas. He said there's a presence in the Vatican of an elegant demon that has outwitted them, right? So if the Vatican can't outwit an elegant demon, and they are supposedly the exorcists on the planet, but you got a whole observatory called the Lucifer Observatory. This is the place where y'all meet is in the form of a reptilian or a reptile, but you're supposed to castigate serpents in the Bible anyway. But you said that there's an elegant demon in there that you can't get out. Then where's the power? Then why the fuck should any Christian feel comfortable on this planet if the Pope himself is being succumbed to elegant demons and the fucking devil, but they haven't declared all-out war on Satanism, Luciferianism, or anything else that resides in their backyard? And y'all can't see that this is some bullshit. Yeah, motherfuckers, you can't even look at him in his face without seeing the evil, without seeing the way the evil has set in on him and become part of his motherfucking makeup, his cellular makeup, right?
That's why Francis had to be the opposite.
Yeah, his intracellular makeup is so fucking demonic and evil that you said you can't look at him, and his right-hand man said he feels the devil around him. I bet you do. I bet you do. So you see that that shield that they have in the upper right-hand corner, the heraldry, that's Moorish heraldry. Yeah. And that's the heraldry that he would wear because again, he is Pope Benedict channeling the energy of motherfucking Benedict. Pause. Okay, so let's go and read to say, well, who's Benedict? Because I can't take for chance that everybody, even though if you've been in church and you're religious and shit, that you might know who Benedict is, right? I gotta say pause every time. And this is where Benedict Arnold comes from. You know what I'm saying? And again, you know, I'm gonna take a light, but shame on you if this is the shit that you have grown up in. This is the shit that you call, you know, your religion, and you don't know these facts. You don't know what the fuck you fucking with. And all of this shit is like not even hitting information. It's very Googleable. They ain't hiding none of this.
Right. So I pulled Saint Benedict the More up on the screen. Here you go. Here's the images of this man. Yeah. As you can see,
nobody pushed back when they was talking about Kanye and the Nazis and all of this, and nobody was like, well, goddamn, the patron saint of Germany that the Nazis was using was Saint Benedict. How's them niggas racist? What are you talking about?
Right.
Like, this is what they was channeling to run down on the people who they said was fronting like they was Jews. Why? Who is they fronting as? Oh, these people got bad blood in them. What bad blood do they have? What was they really trying to say? This was all a Moorish conversation that went over your head. Yeah, we got to get back to the purity factor. These people got, you know, Moorish blood in them. They the ones they fronting though. They ain't the ones. They not him. That's all they were saying. And they try to attribute all of those quotes to say, oh, they was fake, when he was telling y'all, oh, they made a big mistake. They got the ones over there. They finna turn up on y'all though if they find out who they are. They got so much history They got all of that shit built into their architecture. You think that they would do that for slaves? Right? All through Europe, they're gonna put slaves on their architecture. Why they don't put them in chains? Why they have them as royalty and heraldry? Why they didn't do that for themselves?
Right.
Come on, son. I mean, this shit is just embarrassing at this point that nobody asks the right questions. And all of this stuff is around you. It's not even hidden, it's hidden in plain sight.
I'm gonna show them something about Germany in a minute, because people don't even know how deep it is when it comes to Germany and our people, and why they make Germany sound like it's such a horrible place where they hate everybody, especially black people and all of this other shit. But then when you
Lie.
do the research, you like, hold on, they
So
was
yeah,
holding.
let
All
me
right, go
just give
ahead.
you this work real quick, and I hope y'all taking notes. You know what I'm saying? Benedict the Moor was a Sicilian Franciscan friar who was venerated as a saint in the Catholic Church. Born of enslaved Africans in San Fratello, he was freed at birth and became known for his charity. As a young man, he joined a Franciscan affiliated hermit group, of which he became the leader. In 1564, he was sent to the Franciscan friary in Palermo, where he continued good works. Now, I want y'all to do the knowledge, because I just mentioned three things with Shad as all myths. He was Sicilian / Italian. He was a Franciscan. You feel me? But he was also African. Now, you go figure that out. Like, you sit down with yourself for a second and you fucking joggle and jumble that and figure out what does all of that mean, and why did they tell you these lies? Like, oh, we just came into contact with Africans off the shores when we was putting them niggas on boats. These are all fucking lies that you can dismiss easily with a Google. So
Right.
he died on April 4th. He's a 44 resonator certified. His feast is on April 4th. Okay. He's a certified 44 resonator. You dig?
You dig?
You dig? In every sense of the word.
You dig?
Okay. But
Yes,
this
sir.
is where the whole Franciscan shit comes from. So Saint Benedict dies 8 days after San Francisco 49ers lose to the Baltimore Ravens in Louisiana, in New Orleans, in the Thunderdome Stadium, where Marie Leroux is at. The game that Kaepernick became Kaepernick. Okay, the game that Beyonce performed in, the game where the fucking lights went out at 13:22, and one side of the stadium was white and the other side was black, and Jupiter was in Gemini. Leading up to that whole game, and I'm talking like months leading up to the game, the advertisement of the game, when Beyonce was doing the commercial for the game and she had the black and white referee outfit on, the whole motif leading up to it was black and white, black and white, black and white. They was ritualizing that Gemini energy, hard body. This is when Gemini was in Jupiter. So, and Gemini deals with dualism, duality. This is when she became Sasha Fierce at the game. You feel me?
Right.
They lose. San Francisco loses. He wakes up 8 days later on February 11th, again, a year to the day that Whitney Houston makes transition, right? At the hands of another 44 resonator, Clive Davis, who was born on April 4th. Go see the movie. Ask yourself, why does this nigga have her sitting in front of a cube inside of a cube inside of a cube? He know what the fucking 44s, he know what the black cube, he know what Saturnian energy stands for. Why did they have it in the movie then? Why was it so prominently displayed? He produced and put that movie together just to ritualize her ass one more time. Anyway, 11 days after, or 8 days after, they lose to the Baltimore Ravens. And again, the raven is a motif, a symbol that they utilized in the medieval ancient times for Moors. Same as the Dark Knight, which would be Batman. These are motifs that they used to symbolize Moors back then, right? 8 days later, he wakes up from a dream mysteriously and says that God told him that he has to step down from being Pope. They step down and they what? They bring in a fucking another pope from South America, a Jesuit, who now they call Francis or Saint Francis. And you telling me I don't deserve a bomb? Let me get my shit go. Come on. Who my bomb at?
To this day.
Yo. Who mans is this? Hold on. Who mans is this? This your mans? Who mans is this? You niggas is praying to this nigga? Yo, who mans is this?
Now go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So somebody's asking, what does it mean? So it's the transference of power. If the church lost symbolically to the Moors in the biggest game on the planet, right? These cosmic games, these cosmic events, they signal the energy that's coming in. It's almost like them rolling dice and you lose a dice game and shit and you blew the bag. So it's at a bigger level, but the symbolism of it is that the church has lost to the Moors in this grand game that's played in the home of magic in New Orleans of all places, where Christianity or Catholicism has a stronghold, because Catholicism's stronghold is in the St. Louis Cathedral, which is the oldest cathedral in this country, that's right there in Jackson Square, right off the Mississippi. Hits the fact of Missouri up the fucking Mississippi is called St. Louis, nigga. All of that's tied to that church. And they got more bodies under that church. They got more of our melanated indigenous artifacts under that church than they do the Vatican. That church has catacombs. They burnt that church down 3 times. That's why it has 3 steeplechasers on it. And it's sitting there in plain sight. And niggas don't even know who. Anyway. So, again, if you understand, today is January 2nd, 1492. This is when the Battle of Granada took place. Bring that up, please. So, because the people don't understand the connection that I'm attempting to make when I'm explaining to you that those 2 days, January 1st, 1804, and January 2nd, 1493, are the 2 most important days of any melanated people on the planet, whether your ass come from Africa or whether you're a motherfucker over from here in America. Okay, or whether you're in the Americas, so the entire continent, whether you was in Mexico, whether you was in Bolivia, whether you was in Peru, right? All of those empires got toppled. Whether your ass was in Brazil, whether you was in Chile, whether you was in Argentina, whether you was in Colombia, whether you was in Panama, whether you was in Canada, every fucking body took an L. Everybody took an L. And now they got you infighting together, and nobody's turned their back and said, wait a minute. On May 4th, 1493, right? Pope Alexander VI passed the papal bull called the Intra-Caterra, or what's called the Doctrine of Discovery, was the first piece of international law. And ever since that day, they have upended the entire planet. So what was the Doctrine of Discovery? It's when the Pope told Portugal, you can have the entire Eastern Hemisphere of the planet to do what you will. And he gave the entire Western Hemisphere to Spain to go and do what they willed, right? So mind you, the audacity of these Caucasians that they considered themselves the Pope of the world. You just got over to the Americas, allegedly, according to you, a year before that. You haven't even explored this bitch, but you give Spain the right to come here. And what they said, wherever you conquer, because they was looking for the Saracens. This was a continuation of the Crusades. So they was really telling them, huh? It was an Avatar, right? Black Panther. Okay. Oh, yeah. Black Panther 2. When they came over. And the Friars or the motherfucking but Avatar is the same movie as well. It's the same shit. You feel me? Where the colonizers is coming over to the Pandora and to the indigenous lands, and they're just declaring everything. They have not even seen the oceans yet. They hadn't even seen the forests yet. But automatically they claim reign to everything that they come into contact with. That's called caucasity. So they come over here and they fleece the entire Mexico, Peru. They take all of the silver, the copper, and the gold, and they enrich the coffers of Europe. And finally, them niggas get some bread because they didn't have no money prior to that. They got so much money from here. They had gilded ceilings, that means gold, gilded sinks, gilded faucets. They was overabundant. This is when they finally got a chance to get in the game. And they were sending indigenous people over there to Europe, to Spain, and to Britain and everything else. And then they took some of those prisoners and sent them other places around the planet, and they called that slavery as well. So the people that occupied Haiti initially, they came from Spain. They didn't come from Africa. They was Moors from Spain. They called them the magical Negroes. They were West Africans still, but they were They was in Spain at the time as deposed Moors, or people that was getting caught up in transatlantic slave trades, or prisoners of wars that was getting sent from one coast and then bounced to another. And all of this shit now is so confusing. And then our people is just fighting one another, not understanding that you got finessed by the doctrine of discovery and nobody's putting this in their conversation. Shout out to Tyreek, shout out to Dan Colloway, shout out to everybody who's doing the research this unearthing these truths. But y'all got to stop fighting one another. You got to stop banging on everybody who got washed up by the church. And I don't hear none of y'all focusing on who the real Oppie is. I don't hear nobody coming together with a consensus, because you can file a class action suit as a diasporic people who have been done dirty globally by the doctrine of discovery and push back on the church, nigga, push back on the Pope.
To this day. To this
We
day.
not doing this in 2023, or you're gonna be considered an op. You're gonna be considered like, yo, you distracting our people on purpose. You causing confusion on purpose. You drawing lines in the sand on purpose and dividing something that's already something that's so divided. Why are you dealing with division and you ignoring the true opposition? I can't help but look and see, like, nah, nigga. They put you here for a reason. You gotta get some answers from these people. You got to get them to the table. You got to put them on camera. You got to look in their fucking eyes. You got to use lie detectors, and you got to ask the right questions.
Facts.
Right? Who do you work for? What's your goals and your aims? And are you really to take on the real motherfuckers and stop playing with these kiddies, because the kiddies can't do nothing, right? You too busy focusing on low-hanging fruit, and you can't get no redress from that. But even with reparations, you want to get some real bread? Why not the Dutch West Indian companies? Why nobody leaving why you leaving the Danish out of this? Why you leaving them out of it? Why you leaving the Amsterdam, the Dutch, the Danish? Why you leaving all of them out of it? Why none of them is going on the paperwork? Why you leaving Spain out of it?
Right.
Why you leaving Portugal out of it? Why you leaving the church out of it? Why you leaving the crown out of it? Why none of them get mentioned? Why you leaving the Jewish bankers out of it? Right?
To this day. To this day.
So we're gonna turn up all the motherfucking way in 2023 and put the focus in the direction where we deserve to put it at and get some answers so we can move as a coalition and finally get some redress for our people diasporically, so we could come together as a people diasporically. Yeah, you all been done wrong, but as a collective, we possess so many resources. As a collective, we represent such a body politic together. Yeah, we got different cultures. Yeah, we got different histories. Yeah, some people sided with the enemies. You know what I'm saying? But the enemy is still the enemy is still the enemy. Why do they get off the hook? They don't get nothing. Nobody fixed their fucking mouth yet to say nothing to them. But y'all out here, man, dingo fighting online all day. And y'all sitting around being entertained by this shit. And the women was the ones fucking fighting and revolting. They wasn't bumping their gums. They was running down on these crackers with machetes. Running them fucking out. Churning up. Why the men can't do 1/10, 1/100th of that, and they got 100 times the resources in the reach, in the platforms, and everything else, right? You got to start asking the right questions, y'all.
Super fact. So these images that you see right here, y'all, are all in Germany, mostly in churches. All right. These are depictions that tell a story, the same story that Blue is just telling about the people who originally were the ones that they came across, all right, that they encountered in the Americas, and they brought back to Germany, and they brought back to Europe, and how much they've been able to feed off of them, and how much they've been able to benefit off of them, and how much they added to these empires and things of that nature. But all of this is hidden in Germany in plain sight, though, right? These could not be destroyed because, of course, they're probably protected by the churches and whatnot. But we know that there's a lot of things that have been buried and covered up. But yeah, this is one of the reasons why they want you to fear the knowledge that that's buried in Germany. It's a lot of stuff there that's going to open up your eyes. If anybody lives out there or been out there, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we're going to keep digging in, and we're going to keep making these breakthroughs. We're going to keep, you know, enlightening the family. Go on YouTube and look up Allegory of the Continents. Thank me later. Okay. So as you can see in all of these castles, many churches, you have 17th and 16th century Renaissance of Black America, right? And that's just one part of what Germany has. There's also a ton of Moorish shit that's out there as well. Been to Germany, the women worship Black men.
I want to thank you. You know, you had did that very comprehensive compilation of Moorish history with the Moors in Europe, you know, back in the days, more than a decade ago.
Yeah.
And I thought I knew something, you know what I'm saying? Until I came into contact with that document, and I was really humbled by, I'm like, God damn, there's so much history. Like, I don't know shit. I need to sit down. Like, damn. It was just overkill.
Right. And it helped to, yeah. And it was really the tip of the iceberg.
Just the tip of the iceberg, you know. There's so much going on. There's so much information just coming to the surface. There's so much, you know, lids flying off the cover and exposing Pandora is just wide open. You know what I mean? And it's so easy to beat up on the falsehoods. The veil is the thinnest right now. You know what I mean? And yeah, and the ancestors is really just speaking through us to be like, enough is enough is enough, because these people is abusing the opportunity to make a difference and to really affect change. They're abusing this opportunity for entertainment and grandstanding and all of this shit that's non-dangerous, and it's not gonna push no needles forward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Another form of slavery. Touchdowns. No touchdowns. That's another form of slavery they're getting y'all niggas into. Entertainment slavery, entrainment.
Right.
You know? We call it entertainment for real.
Yeah, entertainment. Let's talk about the fall of Granada so we could circle the wagon about the importance of today, January 2nd, and what it means on a global scale, historically.
Talk about it.
So today is a very important day. Today signifies the day that the Moors fell at the fall of Granada, right? The Battle of Granada was the siege of the city of Granada, fought over a period of months, leading up to its surrender on January 2nd, 1492. The city was captured by the combined forces of Aragon and Castile, recently united as Spain, right? So this is how the kingdoms came together on some Game of Thrones type shit, right? And became nation states, and then became what you know today as these corporations, right? but this was Aragon. Remember the movie Aragon about the dragon?
Yes.
Aragon and Castile. Castile is a form of Spanish. The Castiles.
So yeah, it's worth saying.
Castile is Punisher. Huh?
Yeah, when they show dragons in mythology, when they show dragons in movie, it's always a reference to the Moors.
Right. Right. And there's a movie that showed it, and is the best depiction that I've seen. Is two movies that I recommend. Is Kingdom of Heaven speaks about the Crusades. It is the Assassin's Creed
With Orlando
movie
Bloom.
edition. The Assassin's Creed movie is the Battle of Granada. There's scenes that they keep going to where there's the battle and he's at a battle and whatnot, and that's the Battle of Granada with Muhammad X that they are inferring. That's the Battle of Granada when the Moors. This is a historic battle in world history. It shifted global politics forever.
Yeah, that's how they made it to the Americas. That's how they made it to the West. That's how they made it to what's called the paradise, the land of milk and honey. Think about this.
Right.
However long Christianity has been around, however long the white man has been around, he never got to the western part of the planet because the shit was cut off from him. He was not allowed over here because the Moors, who were seafarers, was blocking that shit. But when they fell on them
like
shores,
a no-fly zone. Right.
Yeah,
when that firewall fell, when that ice wall fell, when that iron curtain fell, the onslaught that took place from the European nations who now had Moorish captives, right? After the onslaught, because after the surrender, there was an onslaught. Okay. Prior to the quote unquote surrender, we had to persevere through what was known as the Inquisition, right? And that was horrific in itself. But then after the onslaught took place, the option, they were converting Moors into Moriscos, right? They were converting Moors, they were baptizing Moors and making them
what the Morisco is.
A little more.
Yeah.
The little more, right? The little homie.
Those was the converts, niggas that got flipped.
Converts.
So
right, they got flipped.
If you came if you came into the spread into a prison and shit, and they put you in a blood cart, but you was a Crip, and instead of you standing on the square and holding your flag down, you threw your flag away and became a blood. It's the same thing. It would have flipped you. You was a little nigga.
Right. And then use you to bang on the Crips that you once came from.
Facts.
Right. You the little homie. You the doja. You the front line. Right. As you see in the wars that even trickle down all the way down to their civil wars and their world wars, you know, they have front lines to sacrifice. Right. So the Moors now became what is known as vassals, captives, prisoners of war, Moriscos, converts. Right. They had to drop their flag, and then they used them to do what? To forward the mission into the Americas. Henceforth, you had navigators on those ships that were showing them the way. But at that point, they were already compromised and they were defeated, right? So when they got into paradise, paradise was not war torn, nor was it war hardened. These Europeans were fighting wars for hundreds of years. That's all they knew. They were going up against different Moorish dynasties and things of that nature, and they had infights for centuries. So they were war hardened. They came over with the war dogs, them cane corsos. They came over with the tools that they use. If you Google tools of the Inquisition, they brought those over on the boat. They don't talk about that. Right? And they brought torture and they brought
heat, right? So it's just like C-19 when people's immunity fell and mad variants just started hitting people's body and just washing them up because you had pre-existing conditions. They came with every pre-existing condition that you could think of.
Right.
And our people was clean. They was too clean, matter of fact. They never had no grease on them. They never had no dirt. They never ate a burger, if you will.
Right. So
You know what I'm saying? They never
right.
knew, they never knew nastiness of that nature to even have an immunity. You know what I'm saying? Like how you get certain germs and then your body creates antibodies for it, but you just never knew any level of negativity or nastiness or disease. So when that shit comes at you full fledged, full flung, it just overcomes your whole positivity factor.
Right.
Nigga,
Go and read the
you just
book.
too positive.
Right. You out of here. Go and read the book Guns, Germs, and Steel, I believe. And also read the book Dirt. You know what I mean? It will also, and watch the movie Perfume, not Perfume, Perfume. That'll give you some insight into the people that you're dealing with, right? And the level of what you were dealing with. You know, this is all, like I said, research material for educational purposes. You know, we're not just shooting from the hip or trying to convince anybody of anything. We're showing you that you could go ahead and go and do the research, pause it, go deep diving, because it is a rabbit hole, you know. But these were people that were slaughtered. Yes, Perfume with an A. This was an empire that was brought to their knees and whatnot. They were not traitors. They were not fighting against Africans and trying to take. No, they were fighting for their lives against, you know, people who are natural enemies. So, and they had a global kingdom, right? They had a global kingdom, and they occupied many corners of this planet, not just one. They didn't need passports, they didn't need permission, and they didn't need to satisfy somebody on YouTube before they went and traveled around the world and set up their empires. So today is a day of that commemoration. And as we could see in the news, I was covering a story, and I didn't put it on my Instagram page, but I was going to throw it up, you know, and it involves some situations with groups that consider themselves as Moors.
To this day. To this day.
You know, the Brutish Empire. Oh yeah, all of that. You know, we were a global empire, bro. Do you want to touch on that, Blue, by any chance? You have any intel on that story? A matter of fact, I'm gonna go and pull it up.
Yeah, you could do that.
Maryland. Mary's land. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, but did you see that thing about, you know, YouTube and the demonetization and all of that campaign they talking about?
Yeah. You should not use profanity within the first 8 seconds. And then they're gonna
Yeah,
retroactively go back.
yeah,
I'm glad. I'm glad I don't start mine off by saying, yeah, that I did read a comment where I made that observation earlier today, as a matter of fact, about the profanity, you know, and people wanting their children to learn from the information, right?
Oh, you should give me a heads up. Yeah,
Huh?
should have given me a heads up.
What, you was going dummy?
I don't know if I think, but I just, you know, it's always good to be mindful, you know, because again, I told myself that I wasn't gonna get too turned up, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
very passionate about this information, and
Right. So
you know, I'm just at a place where I'm just like, yo, if we don't get it now, it just I got other things to do, man. Like I'd rather go like really spend some time with the Dolphins and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, Dolphins is lit.
Yeah. I'd rather go pursue that, you know what I mean? Go hike the Grand Canyon, go find me a mountain,
That part.
just call it a day. Yeah. Because it's getting dangerous. This business of, waking people up with no reciprocity, no appreciation, and people think that it's entertainment and people's lives is literally on the line. I can tell you some stories, but I'm gonna spare you, you know.
Right. Boy, they got that story buried.
Which one?
The Maryland one, where the Moors took over the gun range.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of buried. Let me go a little bit deeper.
It's there. It's there. If you would but so just, knock on the door, it'll open up. Knock knock. Put up Moore's Maryland gun range. Sovereign citizens.
Okay. Let me go ahead and share that screen.
Tread lightly.
Here we go. This was December the 30th. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And they took over a shooting range. All right. They're currently the subject of unprecedented negative attention in Southern Maryland, U.S. Moorish Americans are currently the subject of unprecedented negative attention in Southern Maryland, U.S. after they engaged in a loud shooting, endangering cows, and a stray bullet that punctured a neighbor's property, reports the Washington Post. Before authorities judged it necessary to stop the gun activities at the site, the events occurred in a previously gun-friendly location where gun enthusiasts assembled. What the fuck? Those enthusiasts started calling themselves Moorish Americans, an offshoot of the extremist sovereign citizen movement, whose numbers believe they are immune from dealings with U.S. legal and financial systems, essentially took over the range, declaring it protected under the consular jurisdiction of Morocco, said the Washington Post. Right? Following repeated complaints from neighbors, authorities began to take action, finding the shooters and arresting them, until finally the property was raided by the sheriff's deputy, confiscating roughly a dozen firearms. One of the neighbors told the Washington Post that this intervention was long overdue. He described how he was worried about his herd of cows, which is why he moved them to a pasture where they wouldn't be shot at. While being handcuffed by law enforcement, Byron Bell, the landlord of the property where the gun enthusiasts assembled, had acknowledged that things had gone too far. Judge Karen Abrams said the shootings encouraged citizens to ignore the very regulations that are implemented to protect them and others. Officials from Charles County were faced with many perplexing documents to fill in from the Moorish group following the arrest. The official stated that the terms of an 1836 treaty between the United States and Morocco applied to the dispute over Bell's territory, where no special shooting license was provided. A writ of error signed by Lamont Maurice L., who claimed to be the general consul of the Morocco Consular Court of the Maryland State Republic, was one of the papers. According to the Washington Post, the Moorish Americans think that they are descendants of an imaginary empire that they claim once extended from the modern-day monarchy of Morocco to North America, with Mexico and Atlantis thrown in for good measure. They assert their rights to seize houses when they claim are still a part of the Moroccan Empire, including well-appointed mansions owned by other people, while also claiming the same safeguards from U.S. judicial processes provided to foreign citizens. Court records show that Bell, the property owner, renounced his Moorish citizenship in September. He admitted to the Post that although still having trouble grasping much of the group's doctrine, he found it to be very educational. One of the things he had discovered, he stated, was that he should regard himself as immune from the country's legal actions, in part because authorities from the government did not use the Moorish version of his name, Byron David Bell Bay, in court documents. I'm going to stop right there.
Whew.
Yeah, I'm going to stop right there. I believe there's another story, but I would just, I'm just going to put that right there. I'm just showing y'all how thirsty these people are and the lengths that they're taking to label brothers that are out there as that word that, in America, you don't want to be labeled. You dig? You do not want that label on you. It's almost like just don't want that target right now. Yes, we spoke about the NFL player who collapsed on the field. According to the last reports that we received, the man did not lose his life, but we did highlight the fact that it will bring attention to a conversation that was taking place in 2022 around a documentary entitled Died Suddenly. And we will definitely find out if he did take the Jabberwocky. Of course, that will play a prominent role in raising awareness about some of the things that they're trying to hide when it comes to the safety and the well-being of athletes globally, among other things, among other people for that matter. So yeah, salute to that brother. Salute to Buffalo. They're going through a lot right now. You dig? Salute to Buffalo. Whatever cloud is, over that city. Rough buff, But yeah, Blue, is there anything that you want to share with the family?
I think that's it. For the most part, you got everything. I got a lot of work that I need to get back to.
Yeah. It was interesting. It was a beautiful classic episode.
Yeah, because a lot of people have been requesting, I think I'm gonna roll a 44 thing out for the MLK weekend. MLK is one of the main 44 resonators, especially with this Memphis thing, being put in play with Gangsta Boo, at the age of 43, 4 and 3 is 7. So this is how we're gonna start the 7 year with the Devil's Daughter, make a transition with the star of Sirius, which represents where souls transition back to. And even though it's a spiritual, it's a dog star, it was dark before it was light, y'all. So Sirius is not your vainglorious light of cities, right? This is where this is where the darkness of your soul comes from. You feel me?
Right. It ain't it's not
It's
it's
the
not the
glory,
yellow
glory.
brick road. Yeah, it ain't
This
the
ain't the
glory,
glory,
glory.
glory. You know what I'm
That shit
saying?
is
This is
serious.
dark.
It's
Yeah,
serious. It's
it's
dark
darkness.
over there. It's the
Dark.
dog star. Big bitch in it. Yeah, think DMX.
Yeah,
Worth.
absolutely.
Could y'all drop the Discord link? I'm gonna do a little bit of an after show on Discord. We're gonna chat up over there with the family. We're gonna shoot the shit and talk some we're gonna shoot some, we're gonna talk some big game and some solutions and other type of things. What a way to start this new fiscal year off on a great note. Like I've always said, ancestors, are definitely bestowing a lot of they turning the lights on. That's the best way to say it. They helping people to see in the dark. You dig? They're helping people to see in the dark. And I'm honored for that. You dig? So I want to thank everybody for pulling up. Definitely hit the Cash App up. You know what I mean? That's our version of the super chat, correct? And go to KTL University. Go ahead and get that lecture that we just did. Blue Pill got on there. He was doing his thing. It was 6 hours, the end of the year lecture. Powerful, powerful demonstration. We dropped a lot of things on a lot of different topics, tied a lot of things in together, and even
Yeah,
when
I
a
want
good
to.
Deshaun.
Yeah, let me give you your bouquet of flowers. You know what I'm saying? Because some of us deserve it. Yeah, nigga, let me do it first. All right.
Right.
Some of us deserve a whole botanica of flowers. You know what I'm saying? And I'm expressing this whole year. You're gonna see me expressing gratitude. I'm
Yeah.
giving everybody their just due, because the only way that we can balance the scales and heal ourselves from suffering from unappreciation is to give appreciation, even with no expectations for anything in return. You know what I'm saying? Because you a sucker if you hold on to that which you should give freely of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And whether it returns or not, it's still gonna return, because you create this loop within yourself just by hearing yourself say it. You giving it back to yourself.
That
So
part.
yeah, you did an amazing job with that presentation. I love your dedication to research and dissemination of information. I don't know where you find the time. I don't know where you find the stories, but the way that you put them together, you know what I'm saying? You really like, a different, the Bob Walter.
Call me Barbara Walters.
Bob.
I'm
Bob
Barboza
Walter.
Walters. I'm
I said
Barboza
Bob.
Walters.
I said
Hold
Bob
on, I'm gonna go
Walters.
to Mid Journey. I'm gonna go to Mid Journey and make me a make a red pill Barbara Walter.
Yeah. I
Barbara
said Bob
Rosa Walters.
Walters. Yeah, don't do Barbara. Yeah.
Oh, I'm Bob Walters. All right, I'll take
Yeah.
that.
Bob Walters and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Broderick.
Did I get my computer yet? Nigga, did the Pope die yet? Yeah, we got the computer, man. Big things are going. We got the bigger thing. Yeah, we got the Mac Studio Pro. Big boy shit. Let me see if I see the box. Yeah, I showed it on camera the other day. I got the big boy. I've been that, and when you ask how do I get things done, that computer saved the day. When it came in, I was able to knock that presentation out in record time.
Yeah. So I'm still working on something that I know is vainglorious and magnanimous, and it's the offering of the ages. It makes my heart smile, when I think about what's about to happen, with this next phase of our lives, this next endeavor. And the fact that it's so pure is so much about information and not entertainment. Because I'm mixing my entertainment in the information. It's edutainment, you know what I'm saying? But it's information first. They don't know I got a humorous side. They don't know I have a fun side. They don't know that I love doing this shit so much that I gotta mix humor in it because some of this shit is just mad funny. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I got goofball energy as well, but it's not about playing. I'm not playing games, but I'm also, you know,
Lightening it up. You know what I
I'm
mean?
I'm still light in my heart. I still know that we're victorious. I still know that we got this in the bag. I still know that, I've been doing the prophecies for so long that I'm so confident in it that I don't have to be so hard fisted about it. You know what I'm saying? Because in my realm, it's gonna do what it do. I don't do this for the people. I do it,
Right.
you know,
Do it for
people I
TV.
presented. I don't do it for TV. I'm surrounded by my spirit realm, my ancestors. That's, what I'm saying. This is who I'm in constant communication with. This who gives me the downloads. They tell me when it's time to go, and then I see the futility. I see the wisdom in that because I see how I'm rewarded. I see the results of it. You know what I'm saying? And then I come and
Right.
share it to people. But my human design says that I'm not supposed to be attempting to rationalize my thoughts and explain it to people because it's for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
It's for me, but I'm like, but with this prophetic wisdom and vision, I feel compelled, that there's aspects of it that I need to share because I care about people that I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? I be seeing y'all babies on the timeline, and I care more about y'all because y'all got these beautiful babies, and you know what I mean. I'm like, yo, I want us to win by any means and all means. I want to see us in our glory. You know what I'm saying? I want to see us. I want to see us confidently standing in our space and our place, grabbing, you know, whatever we need to grab, you know what I'm saying, to show what it is that we know that you the one. You know what I'm saying? However you show up, knowing that you the chosen ones, that's how I see you with my mind. And information can do that for you. Information can give you a layer of confidence. It could be your shield and your sword on the battlefield where the enemy just see how prepared you are and they go the other way, because
Mm,
I've experienced that on multiple occasions, and I want my people to experience that. We should be hummer stunting in the God year,
that part.
and it's like they holding our people back with weak ass lies, corny shit.
Yeah.
You feel
Fugazi
me?
shit.
Punk
A
ass
lot
shit. Yeah,
lot of
fugazi.
fugazi shit.
So it's
A
like,
lot
nah, we
of
we
yes.
gotta kick down the door, punch through this shit, and let the motherfucking light shine in, because there's so much to get to. This age of technology is here. There's so much fun to have. There's so much fun to be had, you know, whipping these motherfuckers in shape and getting back in our rightful place. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So much fun to be had in that process. There's so much reward that's gonna be, when you get the keys back to your estate. It's such a vainglorious estate that awaits you. You don't gotta
And
wait till you die to get the motherfucking keys to the kingdom. Them shits is available right here.
To this day. To this day.
statement say, "Yo, Red, you're right about this AI. I just had a whole year of work cut down to 1 month. Come on, man. Come on, bam. Look, man, they said the game is to be sold. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sell nobody nothing that they can't benefit from. You know what I mean?
Offended, yeah.
Um, yeah, man. We gonna give you the game, but come and pull up on Discord.
Yeah.
Post a link for the Discord again, so we can have the our KT aliens, because I shared with them early in the episode. Another one of my intentions of this calendar year, this new fiscal that we're going into, is to begin to onboard a lot of the audience that are stuck on YouTube onto a better platform, onto a
Yeah.
more proactive platform with less noise. I would
Yeah,
say
it's good.
Instagram may be the noisiest app. YouTube
Yeah.
tends to be very noisy as well. But Discord, it takes away a lot of the noise. And as we can see, we can get a lot done when we take the noise away. We have to remove a lot of the noise. And a lot of the noise that Blue was talking about is the bickering, it's the ego clashing. It's the niggas is really, to put it in a nutshell, it's a bunch of beta males putting on for these women, you know. And I'm not gonna say, that they putting on for alpha women type, because they're not impressed. It's a bunch of beta males putting on for single women. Hold on. And I'm not saying that in a condescending type of way, but it's a lot of chest bumping and mandingo wrestling, and I hope they're not trying to impress each other. You know what I'm talking about? I would suspect that niggas is trying to put on for the other gender, but that can't persist forever. You cannot go on forever before it gets called out, and the hypocrisy that we see taking place is not addressed. There's work to be done. Work doesn't get done on Instagram, or work doesn't get done on a live. That's not where work takes place. The products of the work is what you see when we go live. We do our work in private. You niggas don't be on live when you at your motherfucking call centers, right? You doing your work. You know what I mean? When you at your pote, whipping it up, you know what I'm saying? Putting them bowls together. We don't see you. When you in corporate America, signing those $500 million deals, when you selling those 10 house mansions, we don't get to see that either. So it goes all these ways. So that's what Discord is. That's where the work is gonna get done.
Yeah, wherever you're at, family, you doing the work. You know what I'm saying? Wherever it's at. And I honor the fact that the work is being done wherever you doing the work. Even if you're just carrying this conversation, you having conversations with yourself in your head, wherever you at doing your work, the work is being done. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about, who do you see when you look in the mirror, because that's the results of the work at the end of the day. And yeah, you might be in a situation that you don't want to potentially be in, but you sacrificing your time, to put yourself in a position to do something that you really want to do when you're in a position to do that. You know what I mean? But like everything else, this is about you. It's about your relationship with self. You live in your body, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? No matter where you're traveling and taking your body to, as long as no matter where you go, there you are. So be confident. If you do flip fries, be the best fry flipper. You know what I'm saying? Be that nigga. So it's there's no time for that. Can't look down or look at nobody lesser than. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, it has the same ability at the end of the day to be themselves. And that's the most important thing. Point blank, period.
That part. With that being said, y'all, we out of here. We will see you either on Third Eye Thursdays or before that. You never know. I do my best to upload whenever Blue goes live on IG. Shit like that, But if you don't see us on Third Eye Thursdays, you'll see us before that. You dig? Might have some treats in hand for this New Year's. But we're gonna leave you with the facts anthem. Shout out to Team Facts. Shout out to Source Guard, Sir Bay. We do have some announcement coming up. Yeah, Black Light.
Easy song of the year.
Easily the song of the year right here. And we got more coming. Who would you want to hear on this remix? So I was thinking about that today. I was like, yo, it's time for the remix.
Crazy. For the remix.
Huh?
For the remix. Yeah, I got some ideas. That's a fact.
All right, we'll go over it. With that being said, y'all, hit that Cash App. Love and light to the family. We'll see y'all.
Okay, The food, the art, the clothes. We put this show on the road. The Vatican getting exposed. You better stay on your toes. Repo, tilling the land, focus on the ego. Open my heart, let go of the ego. Ran out the grand, I'm stacking up these C-notes. Facts, facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts. Found out the X, put it in the rap. Facts, facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts, facts. We in your city, pull up where we at. Facts.
And that's facts though, I talk factos. That's J Babe, I go Astro. Floating focused on my cash flow. We plant star seeds to make the grass grow. I'm a refloater, I do what I wanna. Stacking the winter, sunbathing the summer. My chakras aligning, I shock them like Blanco. Only pope we acknowledge a nigga is Pablo.
At these events, I'm a god to my people. Got out the streets, yeah, we dodging a Rico. Game of roulette, I'm a casino. The game wasn't fair, yeah, the odds wasn't equal. Squad got the Chico, my squad got the Chico. Came in a drought, yeah, they starving the people. Blaming and doubt, make it harder to eat, yo. Not a placebo, this not a placebo.
The food, the art, the clothes. We put this show on the road. The Vatican getting exposed. You better stay on your toes. Repo, tilling the land, focus on the ego. Open my heart, let go of the ego. Ran out the grand, I'm stacking up these C-notes. Facts, facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Found out the X, put it in the rap. Facts, facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back. Facts, facts. We in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, facts.
Started in Richmond, art of my district. Heart of the mystics, started for biscuits. Father the isfits, martyr the misfits. God is my witness, God on my hit list. Moving the weight, we started with fitness. Moving with states, we art of the richest. Give me the blues, my heart is in Memphis. It's part of adventure, started my venture. The F is for food, the A is for art. The C is for clothes, I'm playing my part. T is for check, I'm playing it smart. S is for shelter, I stay in the park. Acres on acres, get lost in the dark. We playing a part, we playing it smart. Facts, facts.
Okay, the food, the art, the clothes. We put this show on the road. The Vatican getting exposed. You better stay on your toes. Repo, tilling the land, focus on the ego. Open my heart, let go of the ego. Ran out the grand, I'm stacking up these C-notes. Facts, facts. Fuck it, we gon' put this shit on our back.